This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 96.1 FM Talk.
Hey, happy Monday. Beautiful day in St. Louis. I'm back from just a couple of days off on Thursday and Friday. We've got the whole team together. How are you, Thomas?
I am great, thank you.
And Fred, I hope all is well.
Yeah, everything's good.
Oh,
What's it out?
No, it's really nice.
Really nice.
Really.
It's really
Oh,
windy.
is it windy? Yeah. Okay. Well, it wasn't windy when I was out a couple hours ago, and I'm going to share a story here in just a second. But first and foremost, I don't know if my daughter's listening to this. They're in Rock tomorrow, election day, tax levy that we're on. But I didn't tell her this, and I didn't do the paperwork or anything. And there's got to be some formal paperwork. But I'm going to take a bit of a stand here on this Monday after Halloween and say that two things happened during trick-or-treating on Friday night. There was not enough quantity of candy taken in by my daughter to bring into my house, which is very unusual. I don't understand that at all.
With that? That's
Well, but the second part of the equation is there really wasn't enough quality. It was super heavy on Reese's, which I love. I love Reese's. But there did not seem to be a lot of variety with other candies. So we go up, our neighborhood, which only has like 30 plus houses, not very often, not very much, goes up to Williams Creek, which they've got hundreds of homes up there. It's like an enclave of people, right, that are blocked from going down that road that's closed. So anyway, I'm thinking, because I'm driving through this particular subdivision to get to her friend's house on Friday night, because they hit a little chilly and they invite, people over. And I see the crowds moving and the people doing all their fire pits in the front, and the driveways are full. Yeah. I'm thinking this is going to be a fall harvest, Halloween that I've never seen before. And then I look at the tub of the candy, kind of let down.
Wait a minute. Was there only one tub per driveway?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, what happened to the candy? Well, where is?
Wait a minute. So you're complaining too many Reese's and that's it?
Look, I'm complaining that my daughter did not do a good enough job trick-or-treating for her father because there was not enough quantity or quality in the candy. It's as simple as that. And I don't know if there's a government agency that can handle something along these lines and figure it out, but I was not very happy.
Did you give her that directive when she left?
That's a good question.
Yeah, of course I did. What's funny about that is I actually did. We're sitting there.
Of course you
So
did.
I said, Alexa, hey, this was my specific messaging in front of many witnesses. Alexa, the number one thing that you have to think about as you go out, not safety. Don't worry about getting abducted. Think of me when and it didn't work.
What candy would you have preferred?
Yeah. Something other than just all Reese's. I mean, there's all kinds of candies. I even had little mounds, and I'm not.
Mounds.
Or did I have Almond Joy? Because maybe Almond Joy has nuts and mounds don't. I think I had Almond Joy, but that's not my favorite.
No,
but I was forced to eat it because there was not a lot of other variety. I'm reaching in, it's all orange Reese's, and then I'm looking. Oh, there's an Almond Joy. That's it. Maybe a couple of Hershey's.
Were these just regular Reese's cups that you had to take the individual wrapping off of
There
all of them?
were some full size. Okay, we'll say that.
Wow.
Or the pumpkins, the Reese's pumpkins?
Yeah, I don't know.
Any of those?
All I know is I was let down.
You mean those amorphous blobs that are supposed to be pumpkins?
Yes.
Yes.
Those exactly.
As an adult who's been through many Halloweens, the only thing I have to live for anymore is on Halloween lots of candy, and I just didn't think I got it.
Did you get enough any Kit Kat in there?
Oh, that's a good
There
question.
was, yes.
Well,
in fact,
good
there was some
grief.
Kit Kat.
All
I
right,
did
what are you
enjoy some of
complaining
that.
about? You got the two best candies.
Yes.
I can
Yes.
complain as much as I want to. Now, let me ask you a question, and I will ask this question to the audience and to the group assembled in here. And the audience, you can just raise your hand and you can, share
While
your
you're in your car.
and send something on the YouTube. Would you, Sue, Fred, and Ethan, take me?
Are we getting married?
Mark here. I'm not. No. Would you take me for someone who learns from his lessons and his mistakes? Would you say that I'm the kind of person who learns from lessons and mistakes?
No. Hit the wrong button.
Can I have the buzzer,
No.
please?
Well, the buzzer is yes. The buzzer is the correct answer. But you were saying no, so I gave you the
Oh,
ding. But the correct answer is no. I am not someone who learns from his mistakes.
That is correct.
So here we go. I go out to George Winter Park again today, Sue.
Oh, no.
Are you kidding me?
Come on.
Okay, now wait a second. Little background.
Twice in 2 weeks.
Little background. Bear with me. A week ago, I think it might have been Tuesday. He can't go to no leash needed right now because of these puppy warts, which are going away. Some virus, and he's got to build up the immunity. So I need to get energy worn out of this dog, right? So Alexa goes with me yesterday to George Winter Park. Now, just to kind of go back in time a week, I took him there last week, and I had him off the leash because I want him to run around. He was going through all these mazes that they've cut into the park over there, and there's a pond, and he liked to jump in there, and he just took off. Right, he just took off, and I'm panicked, full panic mode. I circle back to the parking lot, and sure enough, he's there with a couple of people that are sitting at the picnic table. So
you thought that happened twice. You'd circle around, and there'd be people at the picnic area.
Well, let me just kind of get into what happened today. So 2 days over the weekend, I get him out, and same thing. Alexa goes with me, and everything's good. I got him like within 50 yards myself, and then Alexa, and like teamwork was good, right? So this morning, the girls she had a sleepover last night. They take off to do whatever they do. And I'm like, I got to get the dog out because yesterday worked pretty well. He got a lot of good sprinting in. And I thought, let's do it again. So I take him out there. And this time I kind of do a little different strategy, right? I park, for people who know that area, I park where the boat launch is at George Winter. So there's a big parking lot where no one's really in it at this time of the year. And then there's an open woods. So I'm having him run through the open woods, and he's fine because I can see him, and there's nobody. I'm looking ahead. There's nobody looking. We get to where the picnic tables were, which was the incident last week, and we start going toward the trail. And there's a trail back there, right along the Merrimack River, and he's doing great. He's jumping in and he's listening to me, and everything's fine. Well, off that main trail, which is paved, there are a couple of they're not really mountain bike trails, but they're just trails that you can hike down. And I saw a couple of guys yesterday actually that were coming through there with mountain bikes. So I go down. And I know that this is a particular area where we had trouble last week, okay? But I got it back. So we go down the path, and the path kind of takes a V, and it goes back in the other direction. But it also goes down further at that V. And I don't like to go down further. So he kind of heads that way. And
since he's a puppy,
he never comes back. So he keeps going. And I'm thinking, he's going to come back to me. He did not. And this goes on for a long time. And I'm shouting his name at the top of my lungs, Mac! And then I lied because I didn't have treats. I said, treat. But I mean, he ain't coming back. So I come out of there. I go back to where my car is because I'm thinking maybe he circled around. He did not. So then I took my car and zipped around to the that's an American Legion Hall where we did the fish fry. We did the fish fry at that American Legion Hall. So that's on like old downtown Canton, right?
Yeah.
And I parked the car there, and I actually saw two people that I'd already seen. Like, I still haven't found him. I start to walk toward the other entrance to the park, thinking, and it was just about then when I got a call. And I was so hoping for that call because Max has my phone number on his collar. And thank you so much to the dudes at Rottler Pest Control, right off of
You have got to be kidding me.
because he made it all the way. Yeah. So I was hoping that someone would call, but you just never. I was in full-blown heart attack, panic mode about 3 hours ago. And let me see if I have these guys' names because.
Oh my!
Yeah. Okay. So, do you think maybe I should learn my lesson at this point?
Fred, I can't even.
Your thoughts? Have you? I have not. Probably.
After two strikes.
No, I'm sorry. So I got Rottler Pest Solutions right there in Fenton. Give them some business because they. When I walked in, the guy said, "Is there like $5,000 reward?" I said, 10. Actually, it's $10,000. Just give me your your Venmo number
and a free endorsement.
But I mean, I was about ready to get in the car and drive home and just hope that somebody called me and put Becky on alert and say you're gonna maybe have to go get him. But I mean, I didn't know what else to do. So yes, should I learn my lesson at this point? I should.
Yeah.
Will I have learned my lesson?
You're not going to put yourself through that a third time.
Well, I shouldn't, should I?
No.
What do you think I will?
Because here's the thing. I mean, he's
Yeah, that's the bad
and he's a baby.
I know. Yeah, he crossed the road.
Is there not any dog parks around that you can kind of take a look at?
Okay, with a good point.
I know he's got the little doggy words. You don't want to be around other dogs.
Well, I don't really care.
Okay,
apparently other.
Then throw him in a dog park.
Where? Tell me where
Sue?
the dog park is. Sue.
Well, they're all over the place.
Where?
We
Oh,
can just
they're all over
Google
the
it.
place.
Here we go.
You're like a
Fenton
Democrat being
Dog
asked a question
Parks.
about the shutdown. They're all
Well,
over the
I don't
place.
live there. I haven't looked it up. Fenton Dog Parks. All right.
All I know is I was almost in, because
Fenton Mo has several dog-friendly parks, including Bark Park at Unger,
okay,
Westside Park, and Fenton Park, which are large parks that allow leashed dogs. Oh, sorry.
yeah,
For
Fenton Park.
off-leash activities,
Here we
near
go.
options are Kitun Dog Park in Sunset Hills.
Okay,
And you'll have to go a little further to Tree Court Unleashed Dog Adventure Park near to Sunset Hills.
or I can just kind of go to the parks that you mentioned and let him off the leash and then have him get lost again and
Oh.
go through a heart attack and really, yeah, that wasn't good today. Because then, what runs through my mind is, well, how am I going to tell my daughter this? What am I going to say to her?
Can you
right?
take exactly just walk him for a mile?
Well, the sprinting seems to be something that helps. And here's another idea. And I don't know if it really would help because it would help me track him, but there are things that you can put an Apple AirTag on the collar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or,
All right.
Or what about, does he not like playing fetch? Could you not just get him his running out if you're throwing a ball or if you're throwing a stick? Would he not respond to that?
Ethan, that's a very valid question. It has been tried. He's not quite got that down yet.
Okay.
He likes to grab it and then he doesn't
And then
really
he doesn't
bring
go
it back to you. He likes to chase it. He doesn't like to bring it back.
Have you done the peanut butter and the Kong thing with a treat and thrown it to him in the yard?
That's a great
That's not
question,
bad.
Sue.
That's not bad.
Yeah, because that goes a long time.
Well, I'm just glad that I have 2 dogs still today because that
Oh my
was
gosh, Mark.
a little daunting. And we'll keep you posted on more stupid decisions that I will make throughout the course
It'd be a whole
segment today. A whole segment, it'd be a whole week's show. That's what it would be. All right, we have Asra Nomani coming up here in a couple of minutes, and she has really gone deep. She's done a deep dive into the Mamdani machine, and this guy's going to win tomorrow. He's going to win the mayor's race in New York City, and you got to think about that in terms of now we have Chicago with Brandon Johnson, we have New York with Mamdani. LA is a mess. San Francisco might be getting just a little bit better. Maybe St. Louis is getting just a little bit. I will tell you, I'm so happy that I've not heard a peep out of Kara Spencer about national politics.
It's nice.
Right. It is nice. William Kelly, speaking about Chicago, this is interesting. We played this audio. So this is a guy who's like an independent journalist, right? William Kelly is.
We don't have the illegal aliens.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's some sort of sci-fi message that you wish you had.
So the Brandon Johnson.
The legal term for my people were slaves. Want me to use that term too? So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings.
Okay. So that was William asking a question about using the term illegal alien. He didn't like that at all. But we'll get to that at 3:30. Oscar's coming up next.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Listen, there is road work going on the Illinois side, and it's westbound 5564 between the 70 exit and the Poplar Street Bridge. Now, crews are out there. They've been out there since 8:30 this morning doing repairs and inspections, and this has caused a massive delay. So if you are headed in or out of Illinois on the Poplar Street Bridge, first of all, some of the lanes, the collector and distributor lanes, 2 of those lanes are down if you're headed in from Illinois on westbound traffic. And eastbound is jammed. We had just a mess as you head for the 70 split. Then there was an accident on westbound 64 approaching 5570, a jam behind that one as well. And westbound 70 slowing at Jennings Station Road. We had emergency vehicles there in the right lane, so be careful through there. Westbound 64, just the usual volume, and it's moderate at Clayton Skaker. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hey guys, over here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side, 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Looks like we are definitely out of the massive heat wave that we received this year, but any week when it's 90 degrees during the day and 90 degrees at night is in St. Louis, humidity is not comfortable and our bills go up. With that being said, coming up in the winter months, and this is the time that you want to get your furnace looked at and checked. It's inexpensive to have it looked at for your peace of mind. And this is also the time of the year where you'll hear during your furnace check up that you have a bad heat exchanger or you need a new furnace. Call me if you hear that for a second opinion. You'll be happy you did. And it's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600 or on the internet, Bart Inman. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. And God bless.
This special alert is for all Americans who own a vehicle. If you have a warranty that's about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, this message is for you. It's time to stop worrying about future car repairs today. Your vehicle is essential, but unexpected breakdowns can derail your plans and your wallet. It's time to future-proof your ride with CarShield. CarShield offers a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that saves drivers thousands from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine if your engine quits or your transmission fails. You could pay a fraction of the repair costs. This protection plan is at an all-time low, and to give you even more peace of mind, drivers who activate today also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Don't wait for a breakdown to drain your savings. Future-proof your car with CarShield today and drive with confidence. Call CarShield for your free quick quote. Call 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. What do you have to lose? Call 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisor Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you to retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Bold conversations, no apologies. The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
If you want to see a video of the dog that I almost lost this morning on my Instagram stories, there's a fun slow-mo of me throwing a rope toy yesterday, and then I put the camera in the corner where it's the hard flooring, so he's coming off the carpet and the hard flooring, and he does quite the slide into the camera. I thought it was pretty good camera work. It's cute. Yeah, it is. So it's Mark Talk if you'd like to follow on the Instagram, or as my mom calls it, the Instagram. Mark Talk is where you follow. Barack Obama, who could have maybe added some common sense into the political discussion. Nope, he calls Mom Donnie and says, "Yeah, I like you."
I also shared with him that it was his speech of a more perfect union all those years ago. It was in part inspiration for the speech that I shared outside of the mosque not too many Fridays ago. An opportunity to rise above the 24-hour news cycle that is typical in our politics and speak to the soul of the city and the people of the city.
By the way, they tried to make fun of him a little bit on Saturday Night Live over the weekend, and they did it in the most backwards way, and I'll get to that just a little bit as well. Asra Nomani is back with the senior fellow at the Independent Women's Network. She has done some great stuff here, digging into the Mamdani machine. Asra, how are you this afternoon? I hope all is well.
I am. I'm really, excited about seeing what happens tomorrow.
I kind of came to terms a few months ago when all this started unrolling out with being in the camp that's like, just let him win and let New York hit rock bottom, right? But some of this stuff that he stands for and that he has been running away from because the legacy media has been allowing him is pretty frightening. And you've done a pretty good job of connecting the dots on some of the folks that are backing him, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a reality that's going to be playing out across the country, so we got to study it in Manhattan. What I examined was that there are 110 groups that are backing Mamdani, and of those groups, there are about 30 that come from the very fundamentalist Muslim circles, and about 70 some that are from traditional democratic organizations, and the rest are community groups, PACs, 501c4s that are political nonprofits. And so it's a machine. And this weekend, I also dove into what I call his God Squad.
Yeah.
A circle of about a dozen clerics, political operatives, and community leaders, including this Siraj Hodge, who was a character witness for the 1993 World Trade Center attack, and then this political activist named Linda Sarsour, who has been one of the leaders taking over the Democratic Party by the socialist Islamist wing. I was on Instagram Saturday night, and lo and behold, she goes live and she says straight up, Mamdani is going to be held. She's going to hold him accountable for all his promises. And one of the promises that everyone should care about is that he wants to get rid of this thing called the Strategic Response Group, and it is nothing less than the counterterrorism unit in the NYPD that Linda Sarsour wants out of business, because those are the people who have had eyes on all those protesters that have taken over the streets of New York. So that is the universe that we're walking into tomorrow.
But I mean, you don't realistically think that he might lose this at this point, do you? I mean, I know there's a chance because people might, turn out. Some older people might turn out just scared to death about what's going to happen in New York. But the polling's not really even close on this, is it?
Yeah, I just returned back to 2021 in the Virginia gubernatorial race, and it was so close then that when Glenn Youngkin beat Terry McCullough, it was within the margin, and I don't see that margin right now. Sorry if it's a really windy, but it's a big wind here in Northern Virginia. Wind of change coming. And so it's the same, I hope everybody's consistent to Virginia, likely, our New Jersey.
But I don't feel as confident. I love Winston. She's going to guest on the show. Spanberger seems to have more support, and I haven't seen the polling tighten. And, you and I talked a lot about that Glenn Youngkin race in 4 years ago, but I'm disappointed that it doesn't look like she has a chance in that race.
Yeah, and that is what they say statistically happens, right? When you have a ruling party and then the opposition party usually wins in the next election. But it is really shocking considering the fact that Youngkin was, not a lightning rod in the state. He didn't, create like an animus among people. So it's unfortunate that he couldn't ride on his popularity too. And the reality is that Virginia is also, a claim that the Democratic Party wants to win, right, for the nation. It sends a big signal. And this is where so many of the political operatives live here in Northern Virginia. So they want to run this state.
Well, that's the thing, like when we wake up on Wednesday morning, there's going to be a lot of, this was a message sent by the American public because you may have, and I don't know what your feelings are in New Jersey. I'm going to get into that a little bit with Paul Mauro this afternoon. That one seems to be a possibility because the polling is really tightened there for Chiarelli, who looks like he has a chance. But look, it might not be the best night for Republicans, but there's one thing not having the best night when you have, like, let's say it's McAuliffe and Glenn Youngkin, and McAuliffe would have won that. But that's a little different than what we're looking at in New York City with Mamdani and the extreme issues that, So, I mean, that's where it kind of scares me. And you chronicled this, like he's hanging out with people that have very radical views that really hate America, let's face it. And he does it all with this smile on his face that they kind of mocked a little bit on Saturday Night Live. I'm just a heartless, guy who wants you to have no increases in rent. And then to your point, Asra, what happens when he can't deliver on some of these promises?
Well, you kind of hope that the bureaucracy, right, and the reality of state funding and all these other issues will put a reality check on some of these aspirations that the far left has gotten for America. Because who doesn't want people to live in affordable housing? Who doesn't want medical care for everyone? I grew up in West Virginia, remember, and I saw that there were so many promises for the West Virginia poor that were never delivered. And that was the Democratic Party that was running the state for so many decades. And now the the injustices that we have are ones that everybody would, I think, in an ideal world, resolve. But his solutions, the socialist solutions, are not going to be tenable in the kind of economy that a city of has to exist within, right? Inside of the new state also. But they're going to have a backdoor to the mayor's office, and I can tell you that all of those protesters that were on the streets these last few years are going to have free reign. They are going to try to control the streets of New York, and it is going to be mayhem. I know that from culture, and they are going to consider his victory a light for all the aggression and hostility. I know.
I hope you're wrong, but I think you might be right about that, Astra, for sure. We'll see what happens. And how about Obama and all these guys? Look, they could have injected some sanity into this, right? Kathy Hochul on down, but they chose not to.
Yeah, that's what's ultimately the depressing element for anybody that wants to have a Democratic Party that is at least centrist, right? Even if you oppose it, to your point earlier about the difference between a McAuliffe and a Youngkin, right? But unfortunately, the leaders in the Democratic Party are allowing this hijacking by the far left of their party. And it's so calculated because, politics. The Democratic Socialists of America is not a political party. So they decided to use the Democratic Party as a Trojan horse to claim what? All their campaign finance money, right? All their infrastructure, all their voting tally, all their database information. And so it is a hijacking of the Democratic Party. And the fact that their leaders are not protecting their own institution is a disappointment for America.
You've summed that up quite well, though. That analogy, I liked it. Asra, always great to have you on. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Have a great week.
All right.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
There is an accident on westbound 44 past Lindbergh. Watch for that one in the right lane. We've also had an issue or two on the Illinois side. The problem, of course, is road work. They've got some lanes closed westbound 5564 between 70 and the Poplar Street Bridge. They're doing inspections, they're doing repairs, and that closure has also closed a couple of lanes. The CD ramp headed for the Poplar, and that has created a jam back through 70. Then there was an accident westbound 64 at 70. Again, this is all on the Illinois side, and eastbound traffic coming off the Poplar Street Bridge is jammed as well. Southbound 55 on the Missouri side, that's a slow go, especially at Bates. Westbound 70 slowing right around Jennings Station Road. We have an incident there on the right shoulder. And eastbound 70, an accident reported past Mid Rivers Mall Drive. This report is brought to you by Aspen Contracting. Don't let cracked or missing siding leave your home vulnerable to St. Louis weather. Aspen Contracting has the crews and project managers ready to protect your home and restore its beauty. Call Aspen today for your free siding inspection, 636-465-1696. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Have you ever heard of Pella, Iowa? It is the exact location where Pella Windows is located. And that company has been in business since 1925. Pella chooses to work with outstanding contractors who've really excelled in what they do across the country. And one in St. Louis is Banner Construction. Pella has providing top-of-the-line windows and doors, like I said, for 100 years now. They have energy-efficient options that will really meet your needs. They have options of style and colors and, great quality, all of those things. But that's where you need the team at Banner to kind of tie it all together. Maybe you're interested in a more complete exterior remodel. You do that with really, really good siding. James Hardy, fiber cement siding essentially they specialize in at Banner Construction. And you can sit down with one of the team members. It's a free in-home design consultation. Very easy, 569-1050, or the website, bannerconstruction.com. Banner's been in town since 1993. Pella since 1925.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, I need more balloons.
On it. Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. Daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed, out of reach of children.
If you or someone you know has a home to sell, call Gloria Lou. That's right, Gloria Lou, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria's here with me now. And when it comes to St. Louis area market conditions, what advice do you have for your home sellers in today's market?
Well, most importantly, I understand every seller's situation is different. Some sellers need to sell, and some sellers want to sell. And a lot of my sellers are looking to buy, and they also have a home to sell. My advice in this uncertain market is to get an upfront written guarantee. That way, you know exactly how much you stand to make with your home sale. My guarantee sale offer is simple. I'll sell your home at 100% market value, or I'll pay you the difference.
Take it from me, Mark Cox, an actual client. Sell with certainty and an upfront guarantee with Gloria Lou. Call 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
And it is, when I say it, this portion of the show at 3:35, sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Bold takes, real talk, no apologies. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, we have a Monday edition of Sue's News coming up here in the 4 o'clock hour. Also, I don't think you're affected by this, Sue, but remember when I did this whole thing when I broke away from DirecTV and I went to YouTube TV?
Yeah.
And I love it. I really do. I love YouTube TV. I get the NFL package for that. Well, they have this pissing match right now with ABC and ESPN and Disney.
Yeah.
So I might not be able to watch Monday Night Football tonight. Although I do have like the ESPN app. I'm so confused by some of it. Maybe I can watch through that.
I'm not sure you can. We talked about it on Friday. I can't believe they haven't worked it out yet.
I can't either, but we have media reporter with the Wall Street Journal, Joel Flint, who's going to join us at the bottom of the hours. I played this, it must have been Wednesday because I wasn't here Thursday or Friday. There was an exchange. Brandon Williams, mayor of Chicago, who's, complete embarrassment to the rest of the country, although he keeps sticking to his positions, which are nutty and kooky, and his city's not getting any safer. But he doesn't like the fact that some people might say the term, remember, this has been something Democrats have had this in their crawl for a while. You can't say illegal aliens, Sue. It's disrespectful and it's racist, too.
We don't have illegal aliens.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's from some sort of sci-fi message that you would have had. Well, listen, the legal term for my people were slaves. Want me to use that term too? So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings.
One point of clarification. If, in fact, Brandon, we would currently be calling you slaves when you are, in fact, a slave, that would be something a little different. We are calling those migrants, which have illegally come to our country, illegal aliens, because they're actively right now illegal aliens. It wasn't like 250 years ago. So
right.
Well, I was a point down. My math's not good. The founding of the country 250 years ago, Abraham Lincoln came a little, after that.
Right.
Math's not my forte. William Kelly is with us. He is what they call the People's Reporter in Chicago. He's had some interesting exchanges with Brandon Johnson, the mayor. William, how are you? Welcome to 97.1 FM Talk in St. Louis.
How are you doing, brother?
We are doing okay. We are amazed. Now, I grew up for the first 14 years of my life in the city of Chicago. Richard Daley, like the original Richard Daley, and all that kind of stuff that went on with the Chicago machine. This is a little different in 2025. And do people in Chicago have any questions about the way that their city is being run? Because here in St. Louis, we always hear the nonsense from Brandon Johnson. We don't often hear how the real people in Chicago are interpreting all of this.
Well, God bless you, brother. That's the exact right question to ask. it's really strange because apparently I'm the only reporter asking real questions of the mayor. So if I wasn't doing it, then no one, like literally no one would be doing it. If I wasn't and I was doing it with this Lord Lightfoot character too. If you remember, if you Google reporter William J. Kelly life, you'll just see video after video, viral video of me asking her the most basic questions on the planet about crime, mass shootings, etc. And every time she would just go absolutely nuts. And and then she actually revoked my media credential, believe it or not, because she didn't want to answer these questions anymore. And then after she left office, I got my media credential back, and now I'm essentially carrying out the same tradition with Brandon Johnson. And thankfully, millions of people, obviously yourself included, have seen these videos. Me asking Brandon Johnson basic questions. He still hasn't figured out how to revoke my media credential. So I go every week to these city hall press conferences, and thankfully, hundreds of thousands or millions of people on a weekly basis. Chicagoans, primarily Chicagoans, but also like yourself and people around the country see these videos. These essentially they become very, very heated debates between me and the mayor at his press conferences, and they're happy that somebody is asking them real questions.
Yeah, why? Let's kind of go to the journalistic aspects of this because this happens to a certain extent everywhere. It's not just Chicago, but I cannot believe that with all the issues on the table in a city like yours, we've had some small parallels here in St. Louis with crime. You got a lot more people up there that other reporters in Chicago would not be asking some of the same questions. I'm sure you're familiar with John Cass. I love John. He's a longtime Chicago reporter who has his own website right now. I think he took a buyout from the Tribune years ago. But he's one of the few guys that kind of calls Johnson out some of this nonsense that keeps happening up there.
Well, in terms of working reporters, that actually, like myself, we're that's essentially what I'm referring to. I'm not talking about obviously other people who might also have websites or opinions or what have you. But in terms of reporters that actually go to these press conferences, sadly, the other reporters are, they're more interested in just keeping their job, go along, get along. They don't want to rock the boat. But as a lifelong Chicagoan and somebody who was born on the south side of Chicago, who loves Chicago, I want real answers. I want to ask real questions. I want real answers. I've actually started, believe it or not, a legal defense fund. As I mentioned, I had to go to federal court to get my media credential, my official City of Chicago media credential back. That costs money. So if anyone who wants to support my legal defense fund, it's at reporterwilliamjkelly.com. And then you can also check out some of these videos of me and Johnson really going at each other, insults flying. It's really, it really is. A lot of people find it entertaining. I consider it to be necessary.
Well, maybe it can be both at the same time, I'm just baffled by this guy and what he says all the time. And I played this audio last week. I'll see if I can dig it up now. But at one point, you referred to a Nicaraguan illegal who beat a Chicago woman unconscious, raped her on a sidewalk. And you asked him a question about that. Like you said, if that had been your wife, Stacy, would you allow ICE to remove this violent offender? Yes or no? That seems to be a pretty simple question that he didn't want to have any of that, did he?
Well, I don't know if you want to play that, but go ahead. Also, because it is pretty shocking if you actually listen to it. A lot of people found it to be shocking, specifically the mayor did. You can also see that video, like I said, at reporterwilliamjkelly.com or William J, at William J. Kelly on X. If you want to look at it that way. But the bottom line is this: these are the questions that really need to be asked. If somebody didn't confront Lori Lightfoot, if I didn't confront Lori Lightfoot, the people of Chicago would be walking around with masks, wearing masks. Lori Lightfoot never would have thought. I swear to God, Lori Lightfoot we still have the city of Chicago on lockdown, telling people if they can't go to school or church. I mean, this is the kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like a gulag.
One of the things that I've talked about, this goes back a little bit more than a year, and it did get some attention mainly on Fox, is you had very outraged Chicago citizens, African Americans, who saw their parks being taken over by migrants, whatever is appropriate in Brandon Johnson, to say something. And that got a little attention. I focused on it because here you had American taxpayers that were livid about how migrants were coming in and taking over the parks. Gets a little attention, but I'd have to say that sentiment is far more prevalent in Chicago than we're ever really led on to believe by the rest of the media.
Well, yeah, and that's just it. If it wasn't for my reporting, a lot of that, those voices never would have been heard. They would have been ignored by I guess what you call the mainstream media, call it the corrupt, incompetent, lapdog media in Chicago. They, those voices would never have been heard, and nobody would even know that anybody, if there was even a single person in Chicago who didn't want to be raped and murdered by an illegal.
Here, I found the audio here that we were referring to.
I don't have illegal aliens.
No, that's not one. That's later. Here.
Well, real Chicagoans I talk to, that I communicate with, mostly black and brown, actually, tell me that you don't seem to know the difference between illegal aliens and real Chicago citizens. They feel that you are siding with the illegal aliens over them in their communities. And sadly,
get to the question.
Let's get to the question. The real question is simply this. I don't know how to make it any more direct. An illegal alien from Nicaragua grabbed a woman on the north side of the station, bashed her head into the sidewalk, knocked her unconscious, and raped her. If that had been your life, Stacey,
okay. All right, we're not going to do that. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
You want ICE to deport her?
All right. Let's move on.
Yes or no?
Let's move on.
The question is, man, not as a mayor, but as a man, would you want
Thank you.
to deport that racist?
All right. Tamon?
Okay, Mayor, that's the answer. That's the answer for real Chicago.
He goes on and he actually says, I was hoping I had this part of the audio. He said, invoking the name of my wife is out of bounds, intentional provocation, reprehensible. You know what's reprehensible? The Nicaraguan illegal who beat the woman and raped her. That's what's reprehensible, right?
Amen. God bless you, brother. You see, sometimes, I'm not going to lie, sometimes I do walk out of those press conferences thinking, is it me? Am I wrong? But no, I mean, I'm not wrong. Here, Mayor Johnson has a 150 sworn police officer security detail, 150 sworn police officers to protect him and his wife. Of course, he doesn't have to worry about his wife getting raped, murdered. So, but here's the thing: that woman who was beaten unconscious and raped on a Chicago sidewalk by an illegal alien from Nicaragua, that woman was somebody's wife. Okay, so it's not reprehensible for me to ask that question. That woman may not have been the mayor's wife, might not have been a politician's wife, but she was somebody's wife. So it's completely legitimate question.
Absolutely a legitimate question, given where we are, the entire situation with immigration. He never wants to address that. Now, you are going to get your press credential pulled because then you call him a coward, right, William?
I call him a coward. What else?
Well, he is a coward. I get that, but that might get the press pass pulled is maybe what I'm saying.
Reporter WilliamJKelly.com.
We'll keep watching it. Hey, thank you.
I want to make a donation to my legal defense fund. Can you believe it, Mark? In Chicago, you need a legal defense fund
Just do your
to
job.
ask the mayor a question.
Yes. Give your handle out on the X.
It's at William J. Kelly. Couldn't
Perfect.
be easier.
Keep us posted. Thank you, William.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
A lot of going on the Illinois side. We've got lane closures westbound 5564 between the 70 split and the Poplar Street Bridge for repairs and inspections, and that's caused a jam that goes back to Exchange. Well, then there was an accident westbound 64 at the 70 split, and then eastbound 5564 is just jammed coming off the Poplar through 70. That's the worst of it tonight. Now, we still have some volume On westbound 70 out of downtown, there was an earlier accident at Jennings Station Road, and it's still on the shoulder. Westbound 40 is slow go, and that's Kings Highway in pockets out through 270, a little bit through Chesterfield Valley as well. Southbound 270, moderate volume for Page down through Gravel at 55 is slowing as you head toward Bates. This report is brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they've been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. Windows, siding, kitchens, baths, outdoor spaces. Go to lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas. That's Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Let's support our first responders. Inter Responder Rescue's ATF raffle. Prizes include top shelf bourbon, a lit cigar lounge VIP night, and a CZ P10 pistol from the Rain. Text responder to 33100 to enter today.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades, not us. And we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
License number E2014A.
Hey, good to see you.
Lights flickering?
Grasser can fix it.
Breaker keeps tripping?
That's a Grasser job.
Outlet not working?
Grasser makes it right.
Old wiring need a rewire?
Grasser rewires with care.
From little fixes to major fixes.
Even the tricky ones.
We treat your home like our own.
Treat? Did you say treat?
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeServices.com.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Elbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants. So
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
You're listening to the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hey, how about that story about the former Fox 2 anchor? I do not remember her. Angie Mock. Do you remember?
Oh,
this?
yeah.
You
I
do
do.
remember her?
Oh, yeah.
How the hell do I not remember?
She was
her?
there for 4 years.
Was she really?
Yeah.
I must pay more attention to local.
Well, I watch them in the morning, especially because they're the only ones who put up air balloons. So they'll put up a drone. And,
well, and then up until 10 days ago, you had John Kurtzborn.
Yeah, exactly. And I could see Margie.
So she must, and Margie, Margie and I go way back to hosting Easter Seals telethons in the late 1980s.
Oh, you beat me there.
We did these, we had to do these local cut-ins. And then as the afternoon progresses, you do your last 15, 20 minutes and you show all the tech presentations and stuff like that. That's how we started back in the day. But this woman, I guess, she was here and then she left here. And the reason she's in the news is because she killed her mom.
Well, allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly.
And I'm not sure what happened. She left here in 2015, and it looks like, just looking at the mugshot, you can't tell, but it looks either a mental issue that's going on there or drug related. It's hard to know. I don't. She went to Wichita.
Yeah, safe to say she doesn't look the same as she did when she
No.
was here, right?
No.
So I guess the cops show up at the residence on Friday morning and they find the 48-year-old woman outside with cuts on her hands. That's her inside the house. 81-year-old Anita Avers, unresponsive in her bed with multiple stab wounds. Both women taken to the hospital. Avers pronounced dead about 30 minutes later. So apparently they had a bit of a dispute. You don't know what the whole story
She
is
said it
here.
was self-defense.
She says that she's been charged with first-degree murder. She was booked to
Yeah.
jail, and then the story in the Post just says that she, worked for Fox 2 from 2011 to 2014. Before that, she worked in Oklahoma, Montana, and Nebraska. She might have some issues getting her next gig.
Oh my goodness.
And then I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this today, but I will say that I will be voting tomorrow on my wife, and I'm going to vote for Prop S in the Rockwood School District. I have my personal selfish reasons because of my daughter being in that school district. I am fully aware. Many of you out there will not be voting yes. And I even admitted that if my daughter wasn't 10 years old in Rockwood, would I vote no on this? I don't know. Maybe I would. I do think that teacher retention is very important. There are some opponents of this particular ballot measure that are claiming that Rockwood has not used its resources efficiently in the past years. I think that there might be something to that because it's a government entity. But you also have something down in your neck of the woods. Are you in Melville?
Yeah, well, yeah, right in that area. So we're in the Melville School District, so I get to vote on that, and I'm going for it.
But that is not something that's a little different, and
It is.
it's not a levy increase like this. So if
No.
that passes, the tax rate won't increase. It will just shift the money.
Redistribute.
Yeah, so they're going to do maintenance needs. And one of the other things in Rockwood that they're going to do, and I got to tell you, I feel good about this because we have a security officer that's often at Stanton Elementary. Some of the money that they're going to use in Prop S, if it passes, will be used for, upping the school security, which I think is important. Look, you know as well as I do, a lot of these teachers, my son's a teacher right now. He's only been doing it for 4 years. He's already done with it, I think. He's frustrated.
Really?
Well, he's on the south side of Chicago. But I just know that, keeping good teachers is really something that should be vitally important, especially, it's always important, but especially in the aftermath of what happened during the pandemic. So you choose your path to a vote. We have one family friend who is going to vote, not going to vote at all, because she would have voted no. She goes, okay, I'm just not going to vote. You guys can vote yes. So maybe you take a stand that way. I will be voting yes, but I would admit it is for selfish reasons.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Kind of a crazy commute, at least on the Illinois side. There is road work going on westbound 5570 between 70 and the Poplar Street Bridge. They're out doing bridge inspections and road repairs. We've got just a jam behind it that goes back through Exchange. Well, eastbound drivers are slowing for a look. And that's such a mess that we've got extra volume coming off the McKinley Bridge tonight. Watch for an accident too, westbound 70, and that one is near West Florissant. Already a slow go at Jennings Station Road. We've got an incident there on the right shoulder, but then things are fine. Now, southbound 270, slow pockets. This is Olive down through Gravois, 55 slowing, and that one looks like it's south of Arsenal, down through Bates. And in North County, things look fine. By the way, westbound 40 out west looks fine, but it is lined up already west of Kings Highway in pockets through 270. This report brought to you by the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
And Sue will return with a triumphant Monday edition of Sue's News. After that, we're going to get into this YouTube TV thing. I thought they'd have this thing settled with Disney and ESPN, and I guess I won't be able to watch Monday Night Football tonight, but we will have someone who will weigh in on that here at 4:30 from the Wall Street Journal. Joel Flint will be with us. Paul Mauro at 5:04. It's all coming up plus an audio cut of the day.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, DC. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is your preferred James Hardy and Pella window specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Neither side is budging. Lisa Brady, Fox News. On day 34 of a government shutdown that tomorrow will tie the record for the longest ever.
The only plan Republicans have for health care seems to be to eliminate it and then to tell working people to go figure it out on their own. That's not a health care plan. That's cruel.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Obamacare subsidies must be extended. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says Democrats could have been negotiating that this week if they had voted last week to reopen government.
Thanks to Democrats, millions more Americans, millions, Mr. President, are now at risk of going hungry. And yet the Democrat shutdown marches on.
The Senate plans another test vote tomorrow on the stopgap spending bill that the House passed in September. President Trump holds tele-rallies tonight for Republicans in New Jersey and Virginia, where voters pick governors tomorrow. California Governor Gavin Newsom hoping for record turnout on Prop 50, the state's early redistricting effort to send a message to President Trump.
They poked the bear, and the bear is poking back. And we're going to get out there and win and send a powerful message.
State legislators proposing a new congressional map aimed at helping Democrats to counter redistricting efforts in other states aimed at helping Republican candidates. Her career spanned 6 decades. Actress Diane Ladd has died. She was 89.
You know, I can tell that you knew this kind of work. But you catch on real quick.
Nominated for 3 Academy Awards. The first for that role was waitress Flo, and Alice doesn't live here anymore. Her daughter, actress Laura Dern, confirming Ladd's death, calling her an amazing hero and profound gift of a mother who's flying with her angels now. Dern writing that she was at Ladd's side when she died at home in California. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Doc's party?
Can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex, your nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, I need more balloons.
Sinex. Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63 out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife, and 4 kids. And the best way to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and installation. Weather.
It's a good-looking Monday afternoon across St. Louis. Plenty of sunshine. Our temperature's a little bit above average. Let's look for a high near 65. Tonight clear. It drops very quickly with our temperature. 42 for the overnight low. Evening temperatures will be dropping into the 50s. On Tuesday, mostly sunny, 69 near 70 on Wednesday. Wednesday's also the full moon of November. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, it's a Monday afternoon, beautiful one in St. Louis. And I had texted Sue, I remember this because I left on Wednesday, I was on here on Thursday and Friday, and I said, I just thought of something. When we leave tonight at 6 o'clock, it's going to be pitch black, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of spaced out on the time thing yesterday morning, I'll be honest with you. First clocks that I looked at were in my kitchen. And Alexa and I were talking about this. Why modern appliances don't do this? I think a lot of them do, but the stove and the microwave did not change automatically. So I'm like, oh my God, I slept until 9:49 and it was 8:49, but I kind of still slept till 9:49.
I understand. You did.
I
You
had
did.
a little trouble that was the night I think I had trouble getting to sleep was Saturday night. But then, you got the whole adjustment at the other end of the day and it's gonna get real dark and depressing and all that.
Yeah, pretty much. The
Yeah.
major moment of being midnight.
Those were the only 2 clocks in my house. I had to
Same.
reset.
Same.
The microwave, the oven.
But I mean, when I went, look, I stayed up and watched the World Series on Saturday, and what a phenomenal finish, right? I was going back and forth. I'm barely keeping my eyes open when I'm watching that, and then I still had trouble getting back to sleep. But I completely didn't even, like, the entire day Saturday, never once did a thought cross my mind that the time was changing, even though I knew the time. It just never really, settled into my brain. So then when I woke up Sunday morning, I was a little confused. And then that kind of brings me back to, I told my daughter this, like, if you go back to the time, wasn't too long ago, 25 years ago, 20 years ago, the iPhone came out, 2008, I think. You had all kinds of people showing up late for church,
Oh,
early for
yeah.
church, people confused, all this stuff, right?
I got an email from a guy at church who said, "Hey, don't forget about the time change." And I thought, well, that's kind of sweet. And then I realized he has a flip phone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you never know.
People
right?
still have those?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
they've kind of made a comeback a little bit.
They have
Yeah.
the non-tech people who just
Right.
want a phone.
Yeah. So let me ask a question here. This is somewhat maybe generational, if you will. Although Fred, you knew the reference. So in my household, Sue, don't know about yours. You don't have a 10-year-old. There's been a phrase that has been used repeatedly, and mom and dad are kind of playing along, and we're joking. And I'll give you a perfect example. The other day I was playing racquetball, and the score in my racquetball match was the other dude had 7 and I had 6. So what I said was 6-7, and that's Ethan's rolling his eyes. It's apparently a thing. I'm watching football. You didn't find this yet, though, did you?
I couldn't find it
I don't know
anywhere.
if
I looked
anyone
everywhere.
So I'm watching the Packers suck yesterday. By the way, everybody sucked. The Chiefs sucked. The Packers sucked. Good Lord. I'm watching the Packers suck, and they go to the I think it was this game. It might have been the Chiefs, because the Chiefs, I think, were 7-6. Yeah, it was the Chiefs. So they come back, and James Brown on set goes, you kind of have to say it, 6-7. And I just laughed my ass off because it's gotten so popular. But I don't even know, because dictionary.com last week, I don't know if you covered this on Sue's News, they added this as its word of the year. And I don't get it. So am I even using it properly? How do I use it properly? You seem annoyed by it, Ethan.
I don't get it. This is the first term, because there were things when I was in high school that I would say, and my parents would look at me like, "What the heck did you just say? What does that mean?" And it was just like, it was the lingo. And this is the first lingo thing that I can officially say makes no sense to me, and I don't understand.
Well, I can give you some of the origins. Okay, there was a song that was called "Doot Doot." It's got to be on your playlist, Fred. released by the rapper Skrilla. This goes back to December of last year. In that song, Skrilla sings "The Way That Switch, I Know He Dying 6'7". The rapper, though, has not revealed the meaning of 6'7", but some say it could be a reference to 67th Street in Skrilla, in his hometown of Philadelphia. That could be a chance. So after that gets released, the song is used to basketball highlight reels of the Charlotte Hornets point guard LaMelo Ball, and he is 6'7". And I guess they kicked off the video, the song, and then all of a sudden people are saying 6'7", and it explodes with this meme, which stems from a fan at a youth basketball game that says 6'7" to a camera as he moves his hands up and down. And I don't know how my daughter caught on to
There's
this.
no way she knows any of that.
No, she doesn't know any of that.
No.
But she does, and now she's got the whole family. Every time there's a reference, and we're like, it's 6'7". I don't really get it.
I don't think
we're playing along as parents right now.
I don't think most people understand the reference to it because that's kind of a deep cut. Like that's a song that not a lot of people would know who that is, even probably my age. For goodness sake, I'm 25. But now the thing is just because
kind of an
everyone
inside
knows
joke.
about it,
Yeah.
it's how can I fit 6'7" into something? How many people are going to catch on to it?
right.
How many people are going to do the little hand gesture?
Yeah, it's a
6'7", 6'.
juggling hand gesture.
I've never done that part.
The NFL put out a 6'7" commercial on before the Sunday night game. I believe it was either before the Sunday night game or at the end
Last
of the
night?
game. Yes.
See, this thing is taken off. So there's a guy quoted in the USA Today article about this. Steve Johnson's his name. He's the director of lexicography for the Dictionary Media Group at IXL Learning. And he says when people say it, they're not just repeating a meme, they're shouting a feeling. It's one of the first words of the year that works as an interjection, a burst of energy that spreads and connects people long before anyone agrees on what it actually means. In other words, blah, 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 blah. We still don't know what it means. It's caught on culturally, right?
I read a story about a high school teacher who said she was so fed up with it. She threatened her students they'd have to do essays of 600 to 700 words.
Yes,
if they used
yes. And see, that's what happens because what was the word that I had to ban that Alexa said? Because there was a word that she kept dropping in. Oh, low key. Low key is another one because what they do is they just drop it in. I'll give you an example here. All right, we got Sue's News coming up here in a few minutes. Low key. Paul Morrow's going to join us after that. It doesn't even make sense how they use it. It makes no sense whatsoever. But what they do is they repeat the word low key like 50 times within a 2-minute period.
Yeah, low key, that's pretty sweet. That's pretty awesome, low key.
Right. But I banned that one.
Yeah.
And I went with 6'7" because I kind of find it funny. And we keep seeing things that are on television or that we hear or that we see, and it just reminds us. So it's kind of, for the Reardon family, it's become sort of an inside joke. And even though, then I started, when I heard James Brown say it yesterday on the NFL Today, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, it's culturally taken off if the NFL is doing something like that. So I just kind of get a kick out of it. Hopefully it's nothing that is like gang
I don't think
or
so.
something
I don't
like
think
that.
they know anyway.
But it doesn't matter. In this
Right.
situation, it doesn't really matter, right?
Right. I don't think so. Because all the kids are saying it. I'm annoyed by it, and I don't have a 10-year-old.
And you just heard about it today. And
No,
you're
no,
annoyed by
no.
it.
People talk
okay.
about it.
So
yeah.
you have heard reference
Oh,
to this.
yeah.
Okay. Fred, had you until
Yeah.
you had also.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm the one that's behind the trends.
Well,
Because I'm
yeah.
just picking up on this the last week and a half or so.
Fred is cultured.
Yes. Thank you.
Mark.
But this would be the one at Thanksgiving dinner. Did we already assign one? Maybe we assigned
No.
low key.
Oh,
This
this
has to be it.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Or 6'7". Which one do you like, Fred?
6'7".
But here's the thing about 6'7" is you can slide it in so
yeah.
many different
Yeah.
ways. Like there's so many different ways in which
Like-
you could slide that.
You're going to do a best of show for Veterans Day.
Uh-huh.
And I could say, Ethan, how many segments are you going to include in the show? You might say,
I can
6,
yes, there's gonna be 6-7 segments
there
in
you
there.
go.
I can say,
Okay.
there's probably gonna be a couple that are between 6-7 minutes long, and people will, he said
6-7.
6-7, and that's
Well,
the thing.
You are correct that there are people that are, I think they're injecting it in an act, not in a purposeful way to see if people do pick up on it. If that made, what you just said, I agree with.
Yes,
If
Fred
that made
could,
any
Fred
sense
could be like,
whatsoever.
oh man, this has been such a great Christmas. I'd say probably one of my 6-7 favorite Christmases ever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's
By the way, speaking of
good.
Christmas, man, that Halloween thing ends and boom, you're
Christmas
right to
is
Christmas.
Commercials,
right on up there.
commercials everywhere.
All the spiders are gone and all that stuff, and we are right back into the holiday season. Boom, we got Sue's News coming up 6-7 next.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
I'll tell you what, on the roads, we've got some volume out there on the Illinois side. And if you are headed into Illinois, it's a jam that starts at Route 3. The problem is road work westbound between 70 and the Poplar Street Bridge, and that has created a jam behind it. Westbound 64 lines up at Kings Highway. That goes on out in pockets through 270. Eastbound, an accident reported near Mason. And an accident westbound 70, that one near West Florissant in a slow go at Jennings Station Road. Southbound 55, jam as you head on down toward Bayless. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Are you one who's been thinking about retirement and realizing that it's coming up really quickly? Because you've really got to have a written financial retirement plan in place. And if you don't, how in the world do you know that you've got enough to make it through retirement? Should you be saving more? What about taxes in retirement? All of these things you need to know and understand. And that's why financial and tax architects put on a class called Retirement Planning 101. It's for adults. It's at a local college, and it's 2.5 hours long, but it's so worth it. It's free, so just go online and register. F as in Frank, FTA-RIA.com, because you'll see how they operate, and maybe you'll pick financial and tax architects. They really are the best to help you with your retirement plan. But start there and start feeling better about retirement.
Trucking accidents can change your life in an instant. The injuries, the bills, the stress. It's overwhelming. That's why you need a legal team that understands what you're going through and knows how to fight for what you deserve. At Kaufman Counsel, we've helped real people in St. Louis get real results after serious truck crashes. We know the roads, we know the law, and we know how to win. Kaufman Counsel, real people, real results. Call 314-500-5000. That's 314-500-5000.
Hi, I'm Nancy Cartwright. You may know me better as the voice of Bart Simpson. On Simpsons Declassified, we're diving into the mysteries that keep the Simpsons forever young. Have you ever wondered how the Simpsons regularly predicts future events? Who better to ask than the show's creators, performers, and writers, the celebrity guests? Be sure to follow and listen to Simpsons Declassified wherever you get your podcasts.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Kids don't always like to get school report cards, but they are important and helpful. They document subjects where they're strong and others where they need to show some improvement. Ever wonder why you don't get a report on how your child's school compares to others? At the Show Me Institute, we think you should, and that's why we've started the Missouri School Rankings Project. Click on the website moschoolrankings.org, and it's all there. Rankings and letter grades for all the schools in Missouri. The rankings are based on several categories, such as student performance in English, language arts, and math, ACT scores, and graduation rates. Then we take the rankings and come up with a grade point average, just like your child has. Each school and district will have a grade, and the website is easy to use. Don't you want to know how your child's school stacks up? Now you can. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Mark Reardon, Sue Thomas. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
Coming with a little bumper music here on this one because, and I was so upset. I was so confused as to why we did not get a date originally, but I think it was because they were doing a very condensed tour. But AC/DC is coming to that nasty dome on the 9th of August, and even though I hate that place so much, I might have to go to the show because
it's AC/DC.
Right. Exactly. So, and I've heard my friend Rick Connor in Las Vegas saw it in Legion. He said it was fantastic. My little girl that I met was in Spain way back in 1883 that is now a dentist that I reunited with when I went to Spain. She saw the show in Barcelona and said it was fantastic as well, either Madrid or Barcelona. So I don't know. I might have to go to this one. We'll have time to think about it. When did Fred? You know, tickets go on sale. They might go on sale this Friday. I just made that up. We'll see. But ACDC coming to St. Louis, which is good.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment? We're not going to comment. It's not clear messaging.
And now, Sue's News, presented by U.S. Men's Medical Center.
I'm selling a mirror on Facebook Marketplace right now, and she just picked it up, and we're having trouble with Venmo. I'm telling just to give me a FYI what's happening
Why
over
would there
here.
be trouble?
Well, I don't know. She said, is your Venmo public or private? And I thought, I don't know. So I sent her.
Public now.
Yeah, I don't know. I sent her
Well, so
a thing.
mine's very simple. Like if it's public, people can actually see the transactions that you're making, which I think is kind of weird.
see.
Like all I know is that I follow David Klein, producer emeritus.
Yeah.
And he's in some sort of tax scam. I have no idea, but he's sending money back and forth to so many different people. The IRS needs to look into it.
Oh
But
my
I
God.
think that's part of what happens is you can see the other transactions.
Oh, I see. Well, I sent her the thing, with your little face and what it says. So hopefully that will
It's
work.
not a scam, though, is it?
I don't think so. And as Michael says, she didn't seem like a mirror stealer.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's fine.
Hey, if you can't sell it, we can use it for George Gray and The Price is Right, which you missed the other day.
Oh, I did, but
Yeah.
it sounded great.
was
I
fun.
happened to hear that part.
Except for the ending.
Well, except for that.
With Ethan won.
Yeah.
Well,
sad.
and the beginning, Fred, because the music wasn't there. So, you know what? That
That's right.
segment kind of sucks.
But
You didn't really miss much.
But he was great.
Oh, he was great. He was
He's
great.
always great. All right, how was Halloween, Mark Reardon?
Well, again,
Besides you and the candy shortage.
I thought it was okay, but I think my daughter did not come back with enough quality or quantity. I'm just being honest. I'm filed a complaint with the Halloween board from the neighborhood, and I'm not sure what happened.
Did you have people come to your house?
I don't know. We were up in the other neighborhood, so we left candy out, but not a lot of people grabbed it. Here, I think what's happening, and this was happening in Williams Creek where we were, trick or treating. The neighborhoods, they turn over. These kids, they age out a little bit, and then you have the younger kids, you got to wait for them to grow up. So,
well, I went to Fred's house. Michael and I went to Fred's house. We sat in the driveway.
Thanks,
And it was
yes,
awesome.
No, thank you, Fred, for inviting me too.
Yes, not trick or
Where
treat.
was I not on the list?
Well, you were out.
You were out. Whatever.
Yeah, that was the last minute invite. Plus, Fred and I live 6 minutes apart.
Okay, you have that.
Yeah, okay. And my favorite part of Halloween is when kids mess up jokes or somehow do a knock-knock joke and I turn out to be an idiot. Like that one kid gave me that elaborate joke one year and I knocked and it turned out I was the idiot for crossing the street. I don't even understand it. But here was the best one. Now, we had a bunch of kids come through and we were sitting there and we had one crowd, one group of three. One was a flamingo, wasn't she, Fred?
Yeah, right.
And we said, hey, do you have a joke? And the three of them, we had to ask like 10 times before they organized themselves to say, we don't believe in jokes. We believe in Jesus. Okay.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. But then Jackie, who is one of Fred's neighbors, by the way, Fred's neighbors are fabulous. And Mark, I want to tell you this, Joyce was there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Jackie's my sister-in-law.
Oh, okay. Jackie was awesome. And Jackie said, well, let's relive a classic from a couple years ago.
Oh, yes.
And one of the little kids came up to her and said, what business is apes in? And she said, I don't know. He said, ape business. Then ran off. No, he meant monkey business.
Oh,
yeah. His mom said,
Yeah.
monkey business.
No, ape
He
business.
screwed up the delivery.
Yes.
Let's see what
And
happened.
I love stuff like that. But how many kids did you have there,
I think we
Fred?
probably had about 60.
That's not bad. There were some neighborhoods who were saying that they had, it was Newtown. Somebody at Newtown said they had over 1,200. 1,200.
Well, how many think Holly Hills had? I mean,
I don't know.
That's
Candy
stretching
cane
Holly
lane.
Hills is huge.
Yeah, Candy Cane Lane. So it depends on where you go. But yeah, still pretty good.
I think the silly one that made no sense to me on Friday night was, where'd the turtle go? And the answer was on the roof. And none of us could figure it out what that was about.
And then,
I still can't.
well, it's nonsensical. Those are my favorite. What the actual answer was to the shelter. shelter,
No.
but he
So,
didn't know that either.
When we talked about this a little bit with some of the people I was hanging with on Friday, but like when I grew up, we didn't do like there were no treats or tricks. There were no tricks or jokes.
Yeah.
There was just candy. Give me the damn candy. And then, unfortunately, I had to remind people of this on Friday night. We're all old enough. Remember when those stupid gave you an apple or pennies or something stupid like that, and you
Yeah.
wanted candy and you got pennies?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
That should have been against the law. Really, people should have served prison time for that.
You're a very bitter man.
No, I didn't
I
like
want to
that. I didn't
point
like
that out. Happy National Sandwich Day. I don't know why I said national weird, but Happy National Sandwich Day. My personal favorite. I like a blast, a BLT with some avocado.
Oh, I
don't know
like
what the
that.
S was.
I don't know what it's called, but I like that a
forgot.
lot. Yes.
Or an egg salad. Fred, what's your
I'm a
go-to?
grilled cheese.
Oh yeah, that's a classic. Mark Reardon favorite sandwich.
Well, I'm gonna say that both of those combined, like the grilled cheese and the tomato. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't really have a favorite sandwich though.
Huh.
Like, should I say a hoagie or something like that?
Oh, that seems weird.
I
You
like
can put anything on there.
I like a
man.
good BLT with some avocado on it
Yeah,
too.
that sounds really good. All right, lest you think poor journalism is a newer phenomenon. It was 77 years ago today in history when in 1948, the Chicago Tribune mistakenly called the presidential election for the wrong candidate, which allowed an amused Harry S. Truman to claim victory while holding the headline, Dewey defeats Truman. 77 years ago today. And 11 years ago,
That was that long.
I
ago. Really? Because you kind of that's the type of thing that the memory that I have of that is learning about it in school,
Right,
Learning about it
same.
in high school.
Same.
So in my mind, that's only 30 years ago. It doesn't work that way, though, does it?
No, it's unfortunate. And 11 years ago today, it was 2014 when New York's One World Trade Center opened for business. And that was more than 13 years after the terrorist attack. The Freedom Tower stands a very patriotic 1776 feet tall, with its height matching the year the Declaration of Independence was signed.
And that's where my son Shane works.
I love that. He goes there every day.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool,
I
Fred.
think it's on like the 58th floor or something.
Wow,
Like that.
wow, that's neat. All right, daylight saving time is over, at least for now. Ugh. Now, according to a recent poll, thank you, 54% of Americans would love to see the clock changing done away with for good. 54%, 40% want to keep it. But according to reports, support for time changes is at its lowest level in history.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense because I feel like we're having more conversations about it than any time in history.
Well, that's what I mean.
Trump weighed in on it again over the weekend.
Yeah, people are sick of it. I think we all just used to go, oh, it's the time change our clocks. Now people are like, what are we doing?
But it doesn't seem like they can't open the damn government. So I don't know that we're
Well,
going to
that's
have any kind
true.
of decision on daylight saving time. But I do appreciate the fact that you're not including the S,
Thank you.
like everyone
Thank you.
has a pet peeve of. Yeah.
In a poll 3 weeks ago, only 12% support the current clock changing system. And it had bipartisan support just a few years ago, but there are several bills still kicking around Congress. But yeah, you're right. They can't open the government, let alone do something for what that's it. But for what it's worth, the issue is whether the permanent time should be the later summer hours or the earlier winter. So standard versus daylight saving.
And I always get confused on that. I don't know which one I would like better. What I think where I
We're
fall
on
back
standard
is
right now.
right. I don't want it to be 8 o'clock in the summer and dark. That's
Oh,
kind
well,
of
then
weird.
you want daylight saving.
Right.
I have no problem with daylight
Okay.
saving. I think we should keep
Casting my
going.
vote for daylight saving time.
Fred,
Oh, I like it darker. I mean, I like it lighter later.
I agree. Well,
daylight
we're
saving.
right. So,
Sleep experts say it should go the other way.
yeah, they do. Well, they don't know. If we stuck with one, it had to be better. All right, Forbes has released a list of the highest paid deceased celebrities of 2025. Now, it's based on their pre-tax earnings from sales and streams and other licensing deals. I'm going to start with number 10, John Lennon, 12 mil. Not bad. Bob Marley, 13 million. Jimmy Buffett, 14 million. Now, these are highest paid deceased celebrities. Elvis still makes $17 million a year. Miles Davis, 21. The Notorious B.I.G., $80 million. And he's only at number 5. Fred found this
Why
story.
would that? I'm trying to put the pieces together.
I'm
here,
not sure.
because you'd only have. I mean, that would be a music rights deal, I'm guessing.
It would have to be. Maybe
Wow.
maybe he gets sampled more than we realize. I don't know. Number 3 is a tie of Pink Floyd members Richard Wright and Syd Barrett, $81 million each. Number 2, this kind of surprised me and then not. Dr. Seuss makes $85 million a year, deceased. And number 1, who would that be?
Number 1 would be Michael Jackson.
That's correct. Guess not.
Although Prince wasn't even in the top list, was he?
He was, but he's at 11.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
Well, those
Michael
were the two
Jackson.
names that I was missing.
Michael Jackson, $105 million.
I think
and he's no longer with
The
us.
number that strikes me as most odd in all of that was John Lennon at only 11 million or whatever it
I
was.
know.
That's weird.
And finally, in Sue's News, we have today's random fact. Phil Mickelson's name is Lefty, but he's right-handed. The only thing he does left-handed is golf because he watched his dad golf when he was little and mirrored his swings.
Right. So weird,
Phil
isn't it?
Mickelson, left.
There's your random fact for Monday. We're coming back. We're going to talk about the YouTube TV, ESPN, Disney deal.
I'm Jennifer Scordo with Your Money Now. AI cloud startup Lambda announced today a multi-billion-dollar partnership with Microsoft to build AI infrastructure powered by NVIDIA chips. And Lambda provides cloud service and software for training and deploying AI models. It also rents out AI servers. Kimberly-Clark has announced it struck an agreement to buy Kenvue and a deal valued at $48.7 billion. The combined company would bring together brands like Huggies and Kleenex with the likes of Band-Aid and Tylenol. It would generate estimated annual net revenue of roughly $32 billion in 2025. Ford, Kia, and Hyundai have reported massive declines in electronic vehicle sales as credits end under changes by the Trump administration. Only a handful of automakers report monthly sales. However, the results are an early indication of the expected fall in EV sales with the end of the federal incentives. The Nasdaq closed higher to start November. The Dow finished down at 226. That's your money now.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, a free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code COOL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code COOL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code COOL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey, Stewie, I need some cash. I need money. Who doesn't need money? What can you do for me?
You know, and this is a question people ask all the time. Now, pay attention because this is important. Don't get a home equity line of credit. A home equity line of credit is a credit card on your house. It's typically not a fixed rate, so it's an adjustable. You pay interest only. And there's a short-term opportunity to take the money out, and then later on, it turns into a loan that's a really high interest rate. Cash out refinance. That's the most important thing. Refinance your entire mortgage. Get the best rate that's out there. Give yourself the opportunity to refinance later when the rates drop. A cash out refinance is a little bit higher of a rate than a rate term refinance. Do the cash out now. Set yourself up for the future and get the best deal out there. Just do me one favor. Don't tell my wife about this because she's going to want all the cash in the world to buy a new car.
Well, if you want to know more, Google the bagel and to find out more information, or call my friend Stewie, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Google the bagel for more information. NMLS number 226715. One of the biggest gifts you can give your family is peace of mind. That's why I trust and recommend Civia Law. They've helped so many families, including mine, right here in our community with estate planning, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and elder law issues. I've seen how stressful it can be when a loved one passes without a plan. Families are left confused, sometimes tied up in probate court, and it can cost so much in time and money. But with Civia Law, you don't have to worry about that. They'll walk you through everything, and even deliver your completed documents in just 2 weeks from your first appointment. And here's something special just for you. Mention the Annie Fry Show, and the first 10 listeners right now will get a free strategy session. That's a $300 value. 833-995-WILL. Just be sure to mention the Annie Fry Show when you call. Civia Law has 7 convenient locations across Illinois and Missouri, including in Edwardsville, Swansea, and Creve Coeur. Secure your legacy and protect the people you love. Call 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL, or visit civialaw.com.
More and more now, I'm hearing when all my customers that are calling and setting up appointments for looking at different types of furnace and air conditioners. They're calling in because of all the years that I said there is a common sense approach, and they want to see what that is. Well over 95% of the people are very happy that they did call me. I'm not saying that they purchased anything from me, but they're extremely happy that they did call me. It's not being cheaper. It's being explained in such a way to where they can make an honest decision for themselves and their family and what's best for their pocketbook. When you start getting prices for the furnace and air conditioners, call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Again, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it is bartsinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
From Belleville to Bridgeton, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, we have gotten a little feedback that the audio quality on the YouTube this afternoon is not up to par. We apologize for that. We'll try to work on that. You know what, though? I don't care because I'm so pissed at YouTube right now over this whole deal. I might not be able to watch Monday Night Football, Sue.
Oh, boy.
You know, football is my life. I've made that clear. I don't have much of a life outside of that during the fall. But this is annoying because, you know, I got away from DirecTV once they lost the NFL package, and I went to YouTube TV because of that. And I actually love it. I really, really like it a lot. I like the formatting of it. It's very user-friendly. But now we get into this pissing match again between Disney and ESPN and YouTube TV. And I thought maybe they'd wrap it up, but they have not. And we have Joe Flint here, who's a media entertainment reporter for the Wall Street Journal, on the line. Joe, welcome to 97.1 FM Talk. How are you this afternoon?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
So what is there an end game with all this? Can you explain the dynamics? Obviously, this is one of those deals where, Disney and ESPN, they do not want to pay the fees that YouTube TV is requesting at this point. So they get into these contractual disputes. And unfortunately, the big losers are the people that want to watch some football and stuff like that.
True. You flip them around. It's YouTube that doesn't want to pay the fees Disney charges.
I got it.
To carry
Okay.
ESPN and ABC and all the other channels. And it's a common occurrence. I'm sure most of your listeners have been caught up in these situations before with a cable operator and a programmer. Usually they manage to reach deals before channels go dark, but more and more we're seeing signals get pulled down. And there's a couple different things at issue here. One is just the money that Disney is seeking, and YouTube feels like they are asking too much for their channels. But YouTube is also asking that for certain contractual clauses that they say Disney is not providing them, having to do with YouTube will soon be the largest distributor. You mentioned yourself, you switched to them. They're very popular.
Yeah.
They're growing, and they have over 10 million subscribers right now. And they want to have shorter deals with programmers so that they can renegotiate quicker as they grow. They want to be able to ensure that they will have the cheapest rates when they become bigger, which is a normal sort of thing that the big operators ask for. And Disney is not really wanting to play ball on that. Now Disney is saying we're offering them the same deal we offer everyone else, and they're owned by Google, and they're being super aggressive with everyone because they're from one of the most wealthiest companies in the world.
But they also feel like they have, and I can understand this, leverage because so many people have switched over, and they're a growing platform, unlike DirecTV and others.
Exactly. Everyone else is suffering from cord cutting, and YouTube is on the rise. And today, people were wondering with Monday Night Football coming up, you mentioned, would that motivate a deal? I wish I could tell you that the two sides seem near a deal, but the signs I'm seeing indicate they're not going to get this done anytime soon, certainly not before tonight's kickoff, which is only a couple hours away now. ABC, this was kind of a PR stunt, but it was interesting to watch. Disney put out a note this morning saying they would allow YouTube to restore ABC to its offering so that people could watch the election coverage. And next tomorrow night, it was kind of a little bit of a ploy. And YouTube sent, just now, just a few minutes before you had me on, issued their response, which was thanks but no thanks, and basically said customers have lots of other options for election news, and if you really care about our customers, you can put your live feed on the ABC News YouTube page. So these are two companies that still seem very, very far apart. So I would hope by next weekend.
Oh my goodness!
I know there's a lot of good
I
college games coming up.
Yeah. So Joe, you know this on their X site, YouTube TV, and this goes back. I keep checking it, thinking maybe there's a resolution. It says, members, when we renew our contracts with network partners, we advocate for fair pricing to offer you the best TV experience. Our contract with Disney has reached its renewal date. We've not agreed to terms that disadvantage our members while benefiting Disney's TV products. Despite our best efforts, we've not been able to reach a fair deal. And starting today, Disney programming will not be available on YouTube TV, blah, blah, blah. So that was, Friday when we lost it all. I kind of knew that it would be a miracle to get it back on Saturday, but I really did think that there would be some pressure. But here's the frustrating thing as a customer. I feel like the only thing I can do is complain maybe on the X, formerly Twitter. If I was still a DirecTV customer, I would call them and they would answer my phone, and I don't know if bitching would do any good, but YouTube TV doesn't have any way for you to access customer service outside of what they do on social media. So customers weighing in on this is a little difficult, I think.
Yes, it is. I mean, you can send an email in, of course, to YouTube and hope that someone actually reads it. But I don't know. I hear you on this. I find this the problem with all of corporate America and businesses these days. Social media is often the best place to express your view about a company's service, to try to get some sort of response, because just reaching any company these days is so hard to do over the old, call 1-800 whatever. And now it's just very much of just, you're just screaming into the void.
Well, I kind of jokingly said on Saturday that President Trump needs to get involved because this is a national crisis. And he actually did weigh in to a certain extent on this, didn't he?
Well, it's interesting
front.
On a different front, but it's funny because the president and the FCC, which is under Brendan Carr, who's a Republican and a Trump appointee, normally the FCC stays out of these sort of business disputes, but they do weigh in more and more, and sometimes there's a political agenda attached to it. One other thing YouTube has done recently was they had a similar dispute with Univision, the big Spanish broadcaster, and they've stopped carrying Univision. They can't come to terms on a deal, and Trump and the FCC kind of indicated that they'd like to see Univision carried again. I think Trump feels for political reasons it's a favorable outlet to him at times, so he doesn't want to lose that. I'm sure with ABC, of course, Trump has tangled with ABC News before, so it's probably a little bit of a conundrum there for him between which company he likes on any given day between Google and Disney.
The frustrating part for me is, and I think a lot of customers, we feel like we don't have a voice here in this sense. Look, I could call them or hit them on the X and say, I'm going to cancel and go back to DirecTV. But the fact of the matter is I'm not going back to DirecTV because I did not like the level of service. So they kind of have us by the you-know-what in this situation. It's not like, and I've tried Fubo out too. I had Fubo and YouTube TV at the same time. And I did that mainly because they hadn't solved the issue of what we, I guess, call now FanDuel Sports Midwest, the Cardinals games, Joe, and the Blues games. Now those are on Amazon. So I ditched Fubo, which I didn't really like anyway. And I've really raved about YouTube TV because I love the format and it's so easy. And now they do something like this to piss us all off, right?
Well, yeah, I want to. It sounds weird, sort of. I'm not going to pick a side, but I will say Disney has had fights with other operators over the last couple of years. They had a big one with Charter Cable Spectrum, and they're a big operator out here in LA and in New York, and there too. And Disney, their signals went dark on Charter for about 10 days until they were able to resolve it. So it's not. I don't want to put it all on YouTube. They both have their, they've both drawn their lines in the sand.
No, I get that. I get that.
To find a way to reach a deal, because yes, to your point, the ones losing here are folks like you, and yes, you'll get a little rebate for $20, but that's not going to solve your dilemma of you want to watch tonight's game.
Well, along those lines, let me ask this question, because I have, the Disney bundle, right? So could I tune into the app on ESPN and watch that game? I'm guessing maybe I could, right?
If you have the Disney bundle and you have ESPN Plus, I should know the answer to this verbatim, but I'm pretty sure that should work for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I pay for all these damn streaming. So one of the things that was funny, and I think it was even in your piece where they said, the customers are concerned about, the rates. Well, the rates are going to go up no matter what happens here. I mean, even if they somehow get a deal with Disney, it doesn't matter. They're going to go up. We're going to get an email eventually saying YouTube TV is going up. Joe, thank you so much for joining me.
Sure.
I love the topic. I think my producer, Fred, was sharing this with you. I'm a huge Wall Street Journal fan because I feel for all the subscriptions that I get, and this one is not cheap, as you probably know. I get a lot of bang for my buck. I love the content. So thanks for coming on with me.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, take
really
care.
Appreciate it.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Kind of a mess on the Illinois side tonight. If you are a Poplar Street Bridge driver, we've got, first of all, an accident eastbound 64 just east of 14th Street before you ever get to the bridge. Then a jam from there all the way into Illinois, in fact, just past the 70 split. Now, the problem has been road work westbound, and they've got a couple of lanes down, and this is between 70 and the Poplar Street Bridge. They're doing bridge repairs and inspections, and those lane closures are really causing a delay. Now, if you are westbound on 70 out of downtown, there was an accident at West Florissant, so a jam behind that. Then things kind of open up and look much better. 64, though, that's a jam, Kings Highway out past McCausland. Accident reported kind of in the middle of Chesterfield Valley, some slow-moving traffic there, and then again approaching Winghaven on out. Westbound traffic is slow through there. It's southbound 270 that's slowing now, and this is approaching Olive, and it goes in pockets all the way down through Gravois. 55 slows from Arsenal down through Bates. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'm so excited. We are giving away AC/DC tickets. They're coming to town September 6th at the Dome. Be sure to listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show to win tickets to the show. We'll have a chance to win every day this week between 5 and 9 a.m.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Stop just trying to paint and patch up the outside of your home. It's time to give it a permanent upgrade with James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding from Lakeside Renovation and Design. This siding is designed to stand up to all the crazy weather we get here in Missouri, and it looks fantastic. Lakeside is a James Hardy Elite Preferred Contractor. Whole team, by the way, is in-house, and they're going to take care of all the details, the color, the trim, everything to customize it to your home, to take the stress off of your plate. If your home is showing any signs of wear, it's time to take the next step. Visit lakesiderd.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Setting goals for your retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, listen to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I sure damn hope that I can watch that football game tonight if I have the ESPN app. I would think that, Ethan, don't you think it makes sense that you'd be able to do that, though?
Well, yes, it makes sense. But, Mark, in the world of all of this media BS, is that the answer?
Probably not.
Makes sense?
Frank Cusumano is here. Frank, do you have any idea? Since I have YouTube TV, but I have the Disney bundle, should I be able to watch that on the ESPN app? I would think so.
Yeah, I would think so. Boy, I tell you what, that is really a problem for people who have your service. I've heard a lot of complaints. That's a tough break.
And I love the service. I really do. And, you know, it sucked not having access to a lot of games on Saturday. But let's talk about where we are in sports, because something kind of interesting happens tonight. College basketball season starts, right?
Yeah, I'm at Shavitz now. Billikens, who have a great deal of optimism on the season. They got 10 really good players. They're going to host Southeast Missouri State. Mizzou is at Howard, and Illinois will host Jackson State. So our 3 main Division I squads in action tonight.
Let's talk about Saturday night, because let's face it, this was a hell of a World Series.
Smith hits a high fly ball to deep left field. It's got a chance. It is gone. It's Will Smith in Game 7.
Will Smith, the hero again. I mean, you can't say the Blue Jays did not have their chances. That was a classic Game 7 on Saturday night.
Yeah, and Mark, the irony of a team with, if you count everything they're paying, it's a $500 million team. And for Miguel Rojas, who's the 26th member of that squad, who makes $5 million, to basically be the star of that game, because he hits the game-tying home run and then makes a great play at second base to send it into extra innings. It was great, and it made you forget for a while, you know, the Dodgers bought a championship because the baseball was so great.
Well, there was a lot of great defense. That play was incredible. And let's face it, man, Vlad almost crushed that one. Guerrero almost hit the home run to end the game, and he just couldn't, you know, get it deep enough in center field. But that was a lot of fun. As a baseball fan, you always kind of enter the postseason in a curious way when the Cardinals are not involved. But I did enjoy the last couple of weeks. We got a bye week for both Mizzou and for A&M, if I'm not mistaken. They were off this week, too. Big build up to this game. I snagged a ticket. I'm excited going to Columbia on Saturday. We'll have a new quarterback starting. It could be very interesting, but damn it, A&M is good, aren't they?
They really are. They're third in the country. They have the best pass rush in America in terms of sacks, and they don't make mistakes. They're really well coached by Mike Elko. But I tell you, you know, everything's in front of Missouri, because if Missouri were to win this game, Mark, there would not be many better victories in all of college football this season. I mean, Indiana going to Oregon, that's big. Alabama going to Georgia. But you beat number 3, then all of a sudden you're in the top 12 of the college football playoff.
Well, with a new quarterback, too.
You're right. Yeah, this Zollers is really exciting to watch. I am pumped up for to see him in his first collegiate start. So everything is, in a sense, is still in front of you if you were to beat Texas A&M.
I love it, and that's going to be an electric atmosphere Saturday afternoon at Faurot Field. Ethan, did you have a question?
Yeah, Frank, when you look at this field, I think we have the first college football playoff ranking coming out tomorrow evening. When you look at just the rankings that the AP poll has been putting out consistently, I mean, right now Mizzou is at 19, but I mean, there's been some controversy. Some people thinking that some of these SEC teams are ranked a little bit high. Is there anything that you that you're expecting as far as the college football playoff rankings go, or anything specifically you'll be looking for in differences between that and the AP poll?
Well, I think, where Notre Dame is going to be, it's going to be interesting because they have 2 losses. And, who knows? I mean, if Missouri were to win this game, like that whole Notre Dame, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Missouri, those are the 4 teams you should be concerned about, not Ohio State and Indiana and, well, right now Texas A&M. But can I just say this, is the drama surrounding Coach Drink is going to continue to heat up. The Auburn people are saying right now he's their guy. I told you last week that he's the betting line favorite to get the job at Florida. And I thought, during the bye week, if there ever was time for an extension, now's the time. But maybe Drink's doing the wise thing, and he's focusing all of his attention on trying to beat Texas A&M and not worried about this contract extension. But every Missouri Tiger fan should be concerned because a lot of big-time programs are very interested in our coach.
And the answer to that question, I'm extremely concerned. I had a friend of mine who called me today, and yeah, I'm real worried about it. I'd like to say that here's a guy that has built this program into something very special, and there are a lot more possibilities to come. And to go to another school in the SEC where they're firing coaches that have winning records. I mean, I think there's something to that too. I don't know. I hope that we can keep him, and I think that the Board of Curators is hopefully looking at some paperwork this week. The Blues are back in action tonight, but does that even matter because they're not playing very well, Frank?
No, and the games count the first 2 weeks of the season as much as they do in the last 2 weeks of the season. The losing streak is at 7, but the good news is their best player, Robert Thomas, is back on the ice. The bad news is they're playing against the best player in the world in Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. So I don't know how you're going to stop the bleeding, but you got to do it quickly.
Man, that is not – I mean, we had a lot of hope for a little bit better start than this one, and it seems to be really tanking early. All right, listen, have a great week. We'll get a Mizzou preview on Friday afternoon.
All right, guys, take care.
You're not going, Ethan, are you? Now that you have your Mizzou football virginity that was taken away from you went to the Alabama game?
And in pretty glorious fashion, I may add. My Crimson Tide pulled it out, but it was a fun game. And, it's another great slate this weekend for college football. This was meant to be a down week for games, and we had 3 top 10 teams go down.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
the
amount of parity that we are seeing in college football right now is just out of this world, and hopefully this upcoming week's another good week.
Except for Indiana. They just destroy every other team.
Two things can be true at once. Everyone that's been put in their path, they have obliterated. Oregon was the one tough team that they had to play. They took care of business, but they haven't played a lot of tough teams.
Well, that's a good point too. All right, thanks. We have Paul Mauro coming back on the other side of Fox News.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this afternoon, boy, the worst of it is on the Illinois side. But before I get there, let's talk about the accident eastbound 6440 at 11th Street. It's been blocking the right lane, so if you are headed into Illinois, first you hit that. And that's got a jam back to Jefferson. Once you get past that, you hit the jam about midway across the Poplar, and it is a parking lot through the 70 split. It's westbound road work that is to blame. They've got lanes down between 70 and the Poplar Street Bridge, and that's a jam that goes back through 203. Now, westbound 70 out of downtown, some volume there. Some moderate volume here and there on your way out through Highway A. 64, that's a jam. It's approaching Kings Highway in pockets on out through the 70 split. Southbound 270 slow pockets. And that's really just south of Page down through Gravois before it improves. And road work causing a delay southbound 55 from Arsenal down through Bates. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Brought to you by your local Lennox Premier dealer, Scott Lee Heating.
Scott Lee Heating's Premier Dealer distinction means you'll be working with the best the industry offers. Learn more about our special savings opportunities on Lennox products by calling 314-756-9444 or visit us online at scottleeheating.com.
Hey, this is Ryan Wiggins. You know I love great deals, and when I find one, I'm going to pass it along. How about 75% off of snacks, chips, and especially Little Debbie products? It's its second-generation distribution in Roxana. I go there all the time. Plus, you can search through while you're there. Their nice selection of toys, electronics, home goods, apparel, all discounted. You're going to love this store Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 301 South Old Edwardsville Road in Roxana, Illinois, or visit them online to see the full inventory. Type in Little Debbie Store Roxana.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation or the website bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Big election day tomorrow, in particular in New York City with Zoran Mamdani. The Democrat Socialists will get Paul Mauro's take, Fox News contributor, after the top of the hour. I have not gotten into this Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes deal, which is kind of icky, but we're going to touch on it in the next hour. Plus, an audio cut of the day and more.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Both sides dug in. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. We're in day 34 of the government shutdown. Senate Majority Leader John Thune continues to blame Democrats for not passing a short-term spending bill that would fund the government through November 21st as funding for some federal programs dries up.
Thanks to Democrats, Head Start programs are beginning to close. Housing assistance programs are at risk. Seniors and people in rural areas can't access telehealth services. National Guard training is on hold.
Senate Democratic Leader Chuck Schumer says Democrats want to ensure health care subsidies are extended.
The only plan Republicans have for health care seems to be to eliminate it and then to tell working people to go figure it out on their own. That's not a health care plan. That's cruel.
Another test vote on the measure expected tomorrow. The House passed it in September. The Trump administration will partially pay out food stamp benefits following a court order.
The Department of Agriculture will dip into contingency funds to at least partially pay for SNAP, the federal food aid program, this month. A pair of court orders last week required the program to keep running after several states sued the administration. USDA officials argued they did not have the ability to pay for SNAP after November 1st because of the government shutdown. In a court filing, the Trump administration says it will partially fund SNAP, but it's not clear how much beneficiaries will receive or how quickly funds will show up on the debit cards used to purchase groceries.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Israel has returned the bodies of 45 Palestinians a day after militants returned the remains of 3 Israeli soldiers killed in a Hamas-led attack in 2023. Hamas still holds the remains of 8 hostages in Gaza. Wall Street, the major indexes ended the day mixed. The Dow lost 226, the Nasdaq up 109. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Crystal clear skies for any evening plans, and with the early sunset now with a time change, we cool off quickly, going right through the 50s over the next several hours. Clear and cold overnight, 42. Tuesday, partly to mostly sunny, 71, only 55 for the low Tuesday night, a little bit warmer. Wednesday, sunny and nice, 73, 69 on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, I was trying to get some organization in the studio. So I can't, Sue, I just shared this story with Sue about something that happened the other day, and I'm not quite prepared to share this story on the air, but it was wild. You know, I had Thursday and Friday off, and I get a text message on Friday. It's 1:30. I'm just hanging out in my house. I was getting ready to go hit golf balls, truth be told, and I get a text from someone that I'll just describe as a celebrity that everyone who's listening right now would know, okay?
Right.
And,
for sure.
Yeah. And it just got weird from there, and it was political, and I can't say anything more, but I want to. You know that I want to.
I know
because
that
just
you're
shared this
dying
story.
there too, but
that's a good tease, though. I think at some point I'll be able to share this, but it was like surreal. And this has to do with Trump,
Yes.
as you might imagine.
Yes.
So anyway, we'll keep you posted on that. But I was just coming off the high of sharing the story with Sue, which I feel badly because now I've just told the audience I have this great story, and I can't do it, but that's what I do sometimes. I open up my mouth in unexpected ways. One thing that I have not, I was off Thursday, I did not and have not gotten into, and Sue, you might be a good test case for this. Do you know a whole lot about what Tucker Carlson's doing out there with this Nick Fuentes guy?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I think it's kind of icky. I don't, I've defended Tucker in the past, and I always thought he was a voice on Fox where you'd see, different type of conversation. I don't know him personally, but he's dabbling with elements out there on the interwebs that I think are very dangerous, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. And some of this has to do with this Nick Fuentes, white nationalist guy, Bruce Abramson, who's been a guest on the show many times before. He has written books and a lot of columns. He's got a Substack called American Restoration. He wrote about this, and some of this has to do with Zohran Mamdani and Tucker and Nick Fuentes, and he'll explain it all at the bottom of the hour. And it is quite fascinating. And I guess I would say this, there's elements of MAGA that are not too comfortable with Tucker right now. And then there's a guy named Kevin Roberts who runs the Heritage Foundation. He comes in and weighs in and defends Tucker Carlson, and that becomes a story in and of itself because insiders at Heritage are breaking bad against Kevin for supporting Tucker. Does that make any sense?
Yeah,
maybe it doesn't, but we'll kind of clear it up when.
Can we just follow ideas rather than the people?
I don't know.
I
That
don't
seems too tough for
understand-
people to do, doesn't it? But
Yes.
This is a fascinating one, and it takes a few minutes to, explain. So Bruce will do that at the bottom of the hour. I know we have Josh Kraushaar, who is one of our favorite political insiders, joining us tomorrow afternoon to talk about some of the elections. And we got a lot. We got Virginia, New Jersey tomorrow. Obviously, Mamdani. On that front, Paul Mauro back with us, Fox News contributor, retired NYPD inspector. He's the founder of a great newsletter called the opsdesk.org. Paul, welcome back. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay, but here we are. We've been talking. Let's focus on New York City first and foremost here. You and I have been talking about Mamdani for a while. I think from the very beginning, it was pretty clear just the way that the numbers fall down. This is a math equation. I mean, you don't have any doubts at this point this guy's going to win tomorrow, do you?
I have some slight doubts.
Really?
New York sometimes can surprise you, and the turnout is extremely heavy. Now, that could cut both ways, but I can tell you that there is a real groundswell against him here as people have become more greatly apprised of his platform and where he's coming from. Even some of his supporters, I think, in the Democratic Party here are sort of having pause. But on the other hand, the people who are for him are rabidly for him and seem to have bought into his completely unsupported message. And it's very hard to counteract something that seems to be based more on faith than facts.
I think my question for Mamdani, this is the question that a lot of people would have if he wins, and again, I would expect him to win. Well, what's he going to do exactly? Because he can't keep these promises. He can't, clamp down on rent control. There's a certain amount of things, all politicians promise things. We know President Trump's pretty good at that, too. But so what happens to him then? They won't care if he can't actually do what he promises?
I think he's already built in the idea that he is going to blame others. He'll blame people for being obstructionist. He'll blame elements of the city council if, in fact, they do block him, which would be surprising because they're all fellow travelers. I think right now he's got two villains that he's teeing up. One of them would be Kathy Hochul, our governor. If you notice, Hochul endorsed him, and in a pretty embarrassing turnabout, he did not endorse her. He pointedly avoided doing that.
Yeah.
He wants to keep her in the villain box because when he can't get everything he wants through Albany, as in things like, as you talk about, rent control things, which a lot of that is city-based, but some of it's going to be funding from the state. There's also things like criminal justice reform, taxation. She's already out saying that she is not going to go along with some of his more extreme plans for taxing the rich. He's even made statements about apportioning taxes by the race that is predominant in a particular district. I don't think we've ever seen in this country race-based taxation.
That's interesting.
At least not institutionalized.
Yeah.
And he has said he's going to tax the white neighborhoods more, and of course that's not going to fly. So he's got that villain teed up, and of course he's always got Donald Trump. And the people who support him are the sort of people in many instances who will happily buy into that because their hatred of Donald Trump is just so chromosomal.
Yeah, it really is. All right, Paul, let's go back to Saturday morning, your thoughts on this. So there's a story in the New York Times that says that the former president, Barack Obama, has called Mamdani. They talked, I guess, for like 30 minutes. They haven't really given much information. But, of course, then the headline is Obama is calling to praise his campaign and offers to be a sounding board. I don't know if that's an endorsement or not. It sounds like an endorsement. But, it's amazing to me that more and more, and this is, Paul, what we weren't really certain of from the beginning when Mamdani won this primary, is what will the national political figures do with this guy? Is this the path that they're going to go down for the future elections? And, man, it sort of seems like they are.
It does, and it's not going to work. They are ostracized and borderline irrelevant, which is an amazing thing to say when you consider that Barack Obama was a two-term president. He was very, very popular on the left. He's still spoken of as their Ronald Reagan, despite the fact that we're still living with the depredations of his signature initiative, which was Obamacare. But bottom line is he has made them, along with AOC, the Squad, and I'd even include national-level people like Newsom and Pritzker, who have projected themselves onto the national stage and have adopted a lot of the Democratic Socialist platform. This is really the revenge of the Young Turks, and this is where the Democratic Party is going now. I'm not even sure Newsom is cracking enough to the DSA platform to get the nomination. If you asked me right now to bet my pension, I'd go with AOC, because I really do think that the youth vote now is what's going to determine things. The old school Democrats are going to be left on the outside looking in. That's very, very clear. That it's clear just from what happened to Cuomo here in this town. And this will be happening nationally. And they have one of two choices. Either they're going to have to try to devise a third party, which I don't see flying, or they're going to have to get in line. And that's why you see a guy like Obama trying to thread that needle.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be fascinating. I keep talking about Rahm Emanuel because Rahm Emanuel's a guy out there who is seemingly running for president, and he's trying to offer some sanity to the Democrats. And it looks like a guy like that will have no chance because they're not interested in sanity. They're not interested in what Bill Maher's trying to tell them and other, people who are traditional classic liberals and Democrats. They don't like the path that the party's going down with these younger people. But I guess, especially with Obama getting involved, sounds to me like they've admitted defeat.
Yeah, it does. And it's amazing to see a tired and ostracized Barack Obama trying to get his foot in the door here. It must really be unnerving to him to all of a sudden be on the outside looking in, but he is. Now, look, American politics has a way of doing reversals that nobody sees, and very often it's down to a particularly charismatic figure. But we are reaping what the Democrats have sown for years relative to this obsession with identity politics and what has happened in our schools. I blame the schools. We have students coming out now who don't have any appreciation for the traditional historic failures of socialism and communism. It's actually been inculcated in them that this is a viable choice, despite the fact that it has to be the most imbecilic regime that's ever been contemplated and has failed every place that it's been tried, and it has failed in blood. It has failed in the cost of millions of. There's been perhaps no other system that is a common denominator for so much bloodshed in modern times. They don't seem to have been taught this.
No.
And as a result, they come out and seem to be saying, "No, we'll get it right this time." And of course, they won't. And of course, the reflex in order to defend against that is Donald Trump is the dictator, not our guy. And, of course, history shows that it's communism that leads you in that direction because to each according to his needs and from each according to his ability sounds great on paper. It's just not human nature.
Yeah, so I'm concerned just because you know how the narratives take off with the media that if we wake up, but that sounded very doom and gloom. When we wake up, Paul, on Wednesday morning, you're going to have several Democrat victories. You'll have Mamdani winning. I'm guessing that Spanberger is going to win in Virginia. It doesn't seem like Winsome Sears has closed the gap enough, although, Glenn Youngkin was behind in the polls when he won 4 years ago. And then you have the New Jersey race. Do you have a feel? I don't even know. Do you live in New York or New Jersey? I should know that.
No, New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Any opinions on that race there? Because that one's kind of tight between Chitterelli and Sherrill.
Yeah, Citarelli, you got to remember, it was a very, very tight race last time, much tighter than anybody gave it a chance to be. It really is going to come down to the turnout. I know that's an old line in politics, but it really is the truth. Can they get the urban Democrats to turn out and have the messages of the individual candidates? And really, Citarelli's message, in an interesting way, mirrors Mamdani's affordability message, because Citarelli's main platform, the thing that really, I think, has resonated is the taxation issue. New Jersey is heavily, heavily taxed, and I think the people there don't feel like they get enough for their money. New Jersey is also a much more wealthy state than people realize, but there's a great divide between the wealthy and the urban areas, some of which are some of the most dangerous and downtrodden areas in the country. Trenton is really a marginalized city. I've been there to the federal courthouse, and my God, the area around it looks just bombed out, and it's one of the major cities there. So, you have to look at the fact that if you get the kind of turnout on the right from people who have a vested interest in the taxation, from the businesses, et cetera, and you peel off just enough of the middle class to go with Citarelli, he could surprise. And I think of all the races that you're talking about, I think Virginia AG is going to go to the conservatives. Spangenberger doesn't look great. But Citarelli has a shot to surprise. If there is a surprise this year, I'm thinking that's going to be it.
Paul Mauro's back with us. I heard you on Fox talking about, let's talk about political violence and the way that that's ramped up, and we've had several assassination attempts. Look, you're worried, and justifiably so, that we're going to have more of this moving forward. And I don't know, luckily the No Kings rallies turned out relatively peaceful, but I don't know where this takes us because there is such a strong divide between both of these sides right now. And I don't think you're wrong that, the conditions in this country are ripe for something really, really bad happening.
Really feels that way. And, I name-checked the Secret Service purposely because, according to my sourcing, they may not have really turned that ship around the way they need to. They're very short on agents, and I hear that the training is not what it could be. They got to get there's still look. I hesitate to use the term because it's so loaded, but we do have a deep state. Now, I'm not ascribing that to the Secret Service, but there are a lot of people who are just barnacled into our government, who are going to make sure that people who are not up to the task, who are going to politicize in a law enforcement and protecting our leaders. They're going to do that, and they're going to do it for the greater good. Like I said on the air, I always default to the left thinks the right is evil, whereas the right thinks the left is wrong. And that difference justifies anything. And I really, really fear that the DEI nonsense, as opposed to ability and merit, being the meritocracy that we're supposed to be guiding how we do this stuff. You can't protect against everything, but when you have a highly polarized society, one side of which has decided that the other side is pure evil, and hence the use of the word Nazi all the time by the thought leaders. It's one of the reasons why I think we have a shot in the Virginia AG race, because that guy's rhetoric has been just so off the hook that I think even a lot of the middle is disgusted. But until you get people like Pritzker stopping invoking Hitler relative to Donald Trump and all of the others who continue to do that, and a lot of the nitwittery that we see from a lot of the younger candidates. I talked on the air about this cat Abu Ghazala, who is running for the congressional seat in and around Chicago, Cook County, seems to think that the First Amendment justifies her breaking federal law. This is a woman who wants to be a lawmaker and doesn't understand the First Amendment law, which is the foundation of the nation. We're graduating people who can't think, can't write, can't reason. And they are so entitled, they think that all of that doesn't matter.
The
right has its crazies too, but
Well,
it's institutionalized now on the left, and we can thank the teachers union.
Look you'll have the two of the three biggest, well, I mean, you can include L.A. in this as well, but look, two of the biggest cities in the country, Chicago and New York, will be run by avowed socialists. I mean, that's not even something that we're making up, so we'll have to see where this takes us. But it is, it's kind of frightening moving forward. And what you said is so right about the fact, and I've had some personal experience with this recently with some friends and some people I know, that they don't want to really hear reason, and maybe explanations for why I believe in certain things, because I'm automatically, in their minds, disqualified because I'm a Nazi, essentially.
Well, of course, that's it. And look, all we need to see where this end points is Europe. Europe has become, by almost any metric, completely irrelevant. They seem now to be trying to rouse themselves because they're realizing that if Donald Trump hadn't given them a kick relative to NATO, we wouldn't be getting anything out of them relative to their own defense. They would still be relying upon us. And I point people to a Wall Street Journal article from about a month ago that ran all the metrics on Europe. California has more international muscle these days and a higher GDP than any nation in Europe.
Yeah.
And even the Germans, they've gone to complete sleep, and they've done it because they have bought into the hyper-left, progressive, socialist nonsense. They've opened their borders. Their countries are not safe. Nobody wants to invest in them. America innovates. China replicates. Europe regulates. That's all they produce is bureaucrats. And as a result, the world's tilting to the Pacific because they have none of those illusions.
Paul Mauro, always great to have you on. Good luck with Election Day tomorrow. It's going to be fascinating as the numbers come in. We'll see how much success these Democrats and Republicans have, and it's always great to have you on. So have a great week.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, okay, there is an accident eastbound 6440 at 11th Street. And if you're headed for the Poplar Street Bridge, this is really causing a delay. It's a jam that goes past Jefferson. This accident is on the right side. Well, we've got a mess on the Illinois side. Road work, westbound 5564 between 70 and the Poplar, and that's got lane closures. So eastbound is jammed from Route 3 through 70, and westbound is lined up back at 203. That's put extra volume on the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge as drivers use that as an alternate. Westbound 40, that's a slow go approaching Kings Highway in pockets on out through 270, and then moderate volume in pockets out through 70. 70 isn't as bad if you want to try that. And southbound 55 still slowing at Bates. Yeah, it's really slowed down there. This report brought to you by the Diamond Shop. I love them. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Let me talk about Morelli Tuck Pointing here in St. Louis. Rave reviews. If you go up on their website, Chuck says Morelli Tuck Pointing is super to work with, and they're truly a first-class operation. Their work is excellent, on time, and they left the worksite extremely clean. I will recommend them to anyone seeking their work. You will not be disappointed. Then there's Jane, who says, we are very pleased with Morelli from start to finish. My call asking for a bid was answered promptly. A bid was emailed within a day. It was reasonable. The work was completed within the quoted time frame. The tuck pointing looks great. Highly recommended. Morelli Tuck Pointing. And this is the kind of consistency that you see from customers of Morelli. So if you need tuck pointing work, and they can handle a lot of different things, they're the masonry specialists here in St. Louis. So if you're looking at tuck pointing completely solid houses and buildings, spot pointing with color match, brick and stone repair, the list goes on. They can help you here in St. Louis. They're the best. The masonry experts, Morelli Tuck Pointing, 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-908-8646 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. What do you have to lose? Call 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
Fast-paced, fact-based, and never boring. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
So there's an interesting story that's developed in the last few days that involves the National Women's Soccer League, the NWSL. And there is a player, she's probably going to be a former player now, by the name of Elizabeth Eddy, who wrote a piece in the New York Post, and the headline was, National Women's Soccer League must adopt gender standards to keep growing. And she tells her story. She says, when I joined the National Women's Soccer League 11 years ago, our games were live streamed to fans on YouTube. Today, our league is halfway through a 4-year, $240 million television contract. Our teams are amongst the most valuable franchises in women's sports. Yet, with this remarkable growth comes an urgent challenge. How do we preserve women's rights and competitive fairness while fostering meaningful inclusion? And she writes, I'm proud to have played a small role in our league's transformation from struggling startup to a supercharged celebrity maker. I've been part of winning 7 titles, 3 NWSL championships, 3 regular season titles, and 1 International Champions Cup. But I'm concerned that without clarity about who the league is for, it will lose its identity and its momentum. Now, everything that I've told you so far should lead you to the same conclusion. This person is transphobic, Sue, because she's actually making the case. And she says recent controversies across women's sports, from swimming to track and field, have highlighted professional soccer lacks clear eligibility policies, unlike a growing number of other competitions. So she goes on and she makes some, proposals. Right. She says that there should be some testing, for example, and, goes into some of the research that you and I have talked about from, the start of this controversy when you and I started working together. One thing she says is that one option is all players must be born with ovaries, as the FA requires. Another option is an SRY gene test like those World Athletics and World Boxing implemented. The SRY genetic marker indicates male developmental pathways during fetal growth, providing objective scientific criteria. So she's kind of buttoned up here on the testing and what she thinks is some good answers here. She says, I know from experience the NWSL is more than just a sports league. For many, dreams are coming true in real life, dreams that were impossible before my generation. And she says, I understand that for many athletes and fans, seeing intersex and transgender athletes compete and dominate on sports' biggest stages also realizes a dream. How can we make an open arena reality for small and tragically marginalized minorities with nowhere else that may feel safe and inclusive to compete? That's where it kind of gets tough, right? And she says, well, maybe you have an open division within the NWSL. I think some of these things are just ridiculous, right? Small-sided opportunities like the soccer tournament and the World 7 football, pathways to stay in the game and free counseling. She says, I don't have all the answers, but I know we're in this together. I can simplify it for you. A man with a penis or with, no ovaries should not compete in women's soccer. Right. Now, what we've said for a while, Jen Say is going to join us tomorrow night from XXXY for a couple of different reasons. And this is one of them, but she also had an ad that she put out for XXXY that some of the platforms were refusing to run. Here's the deal. The captain of the team in Los Angeles, let's see if I can remember what her name is here. Sarah Gordon is her name. So the woman who wrote the piece, Elizabeth Eddy, is on the team and the star, one of the stars. But Sarah Gordon, who is the captain, didn't like that column, Sue. And then so she says this.
We don't agree with the things written for a plethora of reasons, but mostly the undertones come across as transphobic and racist as well. The article calls for genetic testing on certain players, and it has a photo of an African player as a headline, and that's very harmful. And to me, it's inherently racist, because to single out this community based on them looking or being different is absolutely a problem. And as a mixed woman with a black family, I'm devastated by the undertones of this article.
Okay, so let me explain that part of it, because there's a couple of different parts of it. The main part, should men be allowed to compete against women? Sarah doesn't want to talk about that, though. But what happened is the New York Post puts this article up, right? And they put a picture. There is no current, we are under the impression that there is no current trans player in the National Women's Soccer League, all right? Just to know that. But when the New York Post but printed the piece by Elizabeth Eddy, the star who's been in the league for 11 years, they put a picture in, and the caption says, Orlando Pride forward Barbara Banda has faced harassment from spectators over past gender eligibility issues. And they don't get real specific about what those were, but they put the picture in there. So she's saying that's racist because you have a black player that's, captioned with that topic. What I'd say is, if they put 2 white players in there, someone would be complaining that they didn't put a black player in because it wasn't representative of the league. But here we are again, and this is what's confusing to me, and Jen might have something to say about this tomorrow. We're back in a major women's sports arena where you would think that the women would want to maintain control of women playing that sport. And apparently in Los Angeles on a professional soccer team, they are not interested in that.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident northbound 270 south of 6440, and they've got the left lanes blocked. Traffic is really jammed behind it. Now, the other accident causing massive delays is eastbound 6440 near 11th Street. They've got the right lane blocked there, and traffic is jammed behind that. Now, the other serious jam is on the Illinois side. It's westbound 5564. We've got lane closures. They've got bridge inspections going on and some road work, they say. I can't imagine it's lasting into the dark, but apparently so. And it's caused a jam back to 203. And then eastbound drivers are jammed as well. And that's put extra volume on the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge. Southbound 55 slowing at Bates. Northbound 270, we talked about the jam, but southbound has some moderate volume headed in that direction. And out west, 64, some moderate volume headed for Winghaven. 70, a little slow past the airport. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Barron Mirror Glass and Door has the largest, most beautiful showroom in all of St. Louis. They've got the latest, most custom designs. It's in Chesterfield Valley. There you'll see why they say creativity unlimited, quality unsurpassed. I'm Sue Thomas. That's Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
You know, they have a great section on Susan L. Ward's website where it says thoughts on selecting the right attorney. Now, you would think that they would tell you, pick Susan. She's, the person who runs this firm. But they're very practical in the sense, and this is what I've said before about Susan L. Ward, is if you need help in this particular area of the law, Susan would tell you this as well, is interview the potential lawyer, conduct a preliminary interview, make sure you have a rapport, look for flexibility, right? Expect attention and prompt responses. You're not getting that? You should head in a different direction. You're going to get that with the law firm of Susan L. Ward, LLC. They have a beautiful brand new office in De Pere at 270 in Manchester. They have a ton of experience, and Susan is just someone you want on your side in a very, very difficult situation. Could be, potentially. Also, not only the end of a marriage, could be issues that are post-divorce, modifications, etc. 314-783-9400 to reach the team at the law offices of Susan L. Ward, LLC. The website, stlfamilylaw.com. The focus on family law and the emphasis on you.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
No need to get technical on heating and cooling. We all want our houses to cool, correct? When it's heating season, we want them to heat, correct? There's not much more to it than that, but I can give you some pointers and tips on the efficiencies, meaning the efficiencies of your house. What you can do to make your house more efficient, and then deciding on what system to purchase, therefore maximizing every single dollar you spent for a furnace and air conditioner. Not spending maximum dollars on a furnace and air conditioner because you're told of an efficiency rating, and that's it. So again, a common sense approach. When you start getting prices for new furnace and air conditioners, call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Again, Missouri and Illinois, the only number, 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This portion of the show at 5:35, sponsored by Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing.
Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
right, let's dig into the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, I guess we'll say Kevin Roberts story for those people who are not familiar. I don't talk about Nick Fuentes a lot, if ever, because I think he's a disgusting human being. But there is this deal that's happening kind of behind the scenes, and some of this erupted last week when I was off on Thursday and Friday with the Heritage Foundation. We have lots of friends over there, and there are guests in many situations. Kevin Roberts is the guy who runs the Heritage Foundation, and he has kind of gone rogue a little bit defending Tucker Carlson's decision to talk and interview Nick Fuentes. Bruce Abramson, who's a longtime friend of this show, has written about this, and hopefully he can unwind some of this because it's quite the story. He is the admissions director at the New College of Florida. His latest book is called American Spirit or Great Awakening, The Battle to Restore or Destroy Our Nation. Hey, Bruce, how are you? Welcome back. Haven't talked to you in a while.
Great. Thank you very much, Mark. Always a pleasure to be with you.
So I gave a little of the backstory here. If you'd like to expand on this a little bit, because it's created, obviously there's a lot of components. There's Fuentes in Tucker and what Tucker has sort of become in the post-Fox era, which confuses me. I'll be honest, I didn't dislike him on Fox. I thought he added a unique voice to the conversation, but some of the things that he's done in the aftermath of leaving have mystified me, and this is certainly one of them.
All right. So essentially, you've got, as you said, you've got three people in the story, and they're very different people. Okay, they're very different people. Nick Fuentes is the head of the Groyper Army. He's he's just a vile person.
Yeah.
And he's basically, this is the beauty of the internet age. Being a truly vile person can be lucrative. So he's got a fairly sizable following. He goes around, he picks fights with people. He's picked fights in public with Ben Shapiro. He's picked fights in public with Charlie Kirk. I was particularly harsh on Charlie Kirk and on Turning Point. He is a gay neo-Nazi Hitler and Stalin fan. Proud of it. He's a rabid conspiratorial anti-Semite. And, but he's a charismatic speaker, and that's enough to sell in this era. So he's got a following, not a huge following, but several 100,000, mostly angry young men.
Right.
That's Fuentes. Now, Tucker Carlson is, of course, a celebrity. He's one of the more important journalists of the past decade, if not the past 2 decades. Hugely successful on Fox. He's been on his own, about 2 years now?
I think so. Yeah, that's about right.
And during that period, he has moved into some very, very strange territory. Okay, this is not Fuentes, and it's grown. It has grown progressively worse over time. And he's always had, as long as he's been on his own, he's had a mix of really good, really important people with whom he does some good work. He has some very good people with whom he inexplicably picked fights. He had a very contentious interview with Ted Cruz over this past summer. And he's had some very strange people. First of all, some of them are strange just from the perspective of being a conservative. He likes interviewing Jeffrey Sachs, who was really kind of a big, 1990s style globalist. Right. If you've got an audience, a conservative audience that really doesn't like the globalist, Bretton Woods Organization, World Economic Forum, having Jeffrey Sachs as one of your constant guests is fairly strange. But, he's a big name in a respectable world. But he's also had a stream of rabidly anti-Israel and rabidly anti-Semitic guests. Coming in one after the other. He had a preacher who's got a Lutheran church in Bethlehem. Bethlehem, of course, is under the administration of the Palestinian Authority, and he keeps his church open only because he works very closely with Mahmoud Abbas. He's also kind of a strange choice because if you know anything about Middle Eastern Christianity, there aren't a lot of Lutherans. In fact, there aren't a lot of Protestants out there.
As a Lutheran, I'm aware of this. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Middle Eastern Christianity is various forms of Eastern Orthodoxy. There's a decent Catholic presence, and there are a lot of pre-Roman sects that are still out there. For example, the Syriac Church and the Armenians. So bringing in a Lutheran pastor is sort of a strange choice. But they spent the whole time bashing Israel without once mentioning that he doesn't interact with the Israeli government. He interacts entirely with the Palestinian Authority, which has pretty much pushed the Christians out of Bethlehem.
Yeah, some of this is
so
so
he's
baffling.
had a series.
Yeah. It's just So anyway, I just want to make sure we don't run out of time here, Bruce. So anyway, you got those two. You got Nick Fuentes going on with Tucker Carlson, and then introduce the Kevin Roberts aspect of this.
Okay, wait. Hang on. Here's where it comes in. Last week, Tucker had Nick Fuentes on,
right?
And he basically gave him a puff piece softball interview, let him spew his anti-Semitism, and then Tucker talked about how more than anything he hates Christian Zionists. Okay, so he just rails about how much Christian Zionists are horrible people, and he hates them, and he doesn't know what they're thinking, and they're theologically flawed, and they're worse than anybody. Now, immediately after this interview, there has been pressure. There has been notable pressure. First came out the story about Turning Point, then about Heritage, that they distanced themselves from Tucker Carlson because he really has gone off the reservation. He was also, by the way, he was hugely anti-Trump. He talked about how Trump blowing up Iran's nuclear facilities would cause World War III, hundreds of thousands of American casualties. So far, so good.
Yeah, that's why I said at the beginning here, I'm mystified by some of the things that he's done. I really am.
There's been pressure on various respectable organizations to distance themselves from him. And really what he did, if you watched his speech at the Charlie Kirk Memorial, it was an embarrassment. I mean, everybody else talked about Charlie Kirk. Tucker turned it into his own agenda. And that was, that alone should have been grounds for no longer associated with. In any event, apropos of I don't know what, perhaps some internal pressure, Kevin Roberts, the head of Heritage, made what looked like a hostage video last week, where he says, we've been pressured to break ties with Tucker Carlson. We're not going to. You got to bring these people in from the dark to engage them. Conflated, rabid conspiratorial anti-Semitism with criticism of Israeli government policies.
Hang on, Bruce, because let me play some of the audio here. Okay, so this is Kevin.
We will always defend America, and we will always defend our friends against the slander of bad actors who serve someone else's agenda. That includes Tucker Carlson, who remains, and as I have said before, always will be a close friend of the Heritage Foundation. The venomous coalition attacking him are sowing division. Their attempt to cancel him will fail. Most importantly, the American people expect us to be focusing on our political adversaries on the left, not attacking our friends on the right.
Okay, so that goes on for a while, and he makes other points, obviously, but then this has also created a rift inside Heritage, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, first of all, nobody told him to do that, right? Nobody was talking about Kevin Roberts and Heritage in the context of this story. We were talking about Tucker Carlson. We were talking about Tucker Carlson and Turning Point. Why he decided to stick Heritage in the middle of this fight is kind of baffling. And why he took the wrong side, I mean, he's got a lot of people who are very upset. Heritage has been doing great work combating anti-Semitism. One of the leading consultants they had on that project resigned, saying, I can't deal with this anymore. Heritage notoriously keeps its people strictly on message. There have been people speaking out. I don't think that's happened before for Heritage. He has apparently already reassigned his chief of staff, who wrote the script and told him to do the video, to look at housing issues.
And he did come back, and then he sort of addressed the Fuentes, Holocaust denial, all this other crap. That's the thing. How could you in any way, I guess Tucker's probably a friend, right? He's a friend. He's a person. You want to defend Tucker. You can't defend Nick Fuentes. Sorry. You can't do it. And he finally even realized that, and he goes on and tries to make up for it, but not as much as certainly in most people's minds didn't go far enough here, because he's not making a, he's not severing the relationship, if you will, with Heritage.
Well, yeah, the real problem here is not Fuentes. Fuentes is a known problem. He's been a problem for a long time, and guys like that are always a problem, but they're small. The real problem is Tucker Carlson, because what Tucker is doing is he's mainstreaming some truly horrendous people. Okay? Nick Fuentes is a gadfly in the background. Tucker Carlson stuck him into the mainstream. And instead of the respectable organizations like Turning Point and Heritage saying, look, if Tucker wants to give puff pieces to neo-Nazis and not challenge people who sit on his show and say, oh, yeah, I'm a big fan of Stalin, too, then that's a choice that he's made, but we can't have anything to do with him. And we can acknowledge the fun work he's done over the years, and we can go out for a beer with him because we still like the guy. But he's toxic.
Yeah.
And he's gone out of his way to mainstream people. I haven't. I know people who know all these folks personally. I don't. I've never met either Tucker Carlson or Kevin Roberts. I used to like Tucker's work, but at the end of the day, whatever his issue is, he has taken it upon himself to bring some very, very toxic ideologies into the mainstream of conservatism, where they don't belong. And people, Professor Robert George, who's on the board of Heritage, wrote a wonderful piece about it. And I mean, essentially, look, for any conservative spokesman to talk about how much he hates Christian Zionists, I mean, how is that good for the movement?
It's not, and that's my main concern. There are things that are happening, and I don't understand what the hell he's doing, but it gives the left easy lanes to say, look, these guys are playing footsie with people like Nick Fuentes. So that's why I think it's disgusting. I mean, most of the stuff that I've heard that Nick Fuentes said is just crazy. It shouldn't be given any attention, but like you said, he's elevating him. I don't know what's going on in Tucker's mind, but I do think it's interesting, that Kevin decided to back him up. Now there's pressure on him to resign from Heritage, right?
Well, I mean,
maybe not.
It really wasn't a good look. Well, no, I mean, look, it wasn't a good look for the organization. Okay, there was absolutely nobody inside Heritage who could possibly think that Kevin Roberts has elevated the organization over the past week.
I would agree with that, Bruce. I got to go, though. Get to a break. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, see you.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Problems on the Illinois side, and it's all due to road work and bridge inspections on westbound 5564 between 70 and the Poplar Street Bridge. We've got a jam. They've got lanes down. That goes back to 203. And then eastbound is lined up. That's about halfway across the bridge, all the way through 64. Accident reported now eastbound on 6440 as you head for Boyle. It's just past Tower Grove. Look for some traffic there. And westbound traffic is still lined up approaching Hampton out through McCausland. Eastbound slow on either side of 170. And then out west, 64, still some moderate volume in the construction zone, or at least headed for it as you head toward Winghaven. 70 isn't bad out west. That's your best bet there. Now, we've got an accident reported and a jam on northbound 270 again, just south of 64. Some slow-moving traffic there. This report is brought to you by Aspen Contracting. And if your home siding is cracked, faded, or storm damaged, Aspen Contracting has the materials, manpower, and project managers to get the job done fast. Don't let your home become an eyesore. Call Aspen today for your free siding inspection, 636-465-1696. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic, 97.1 FM Talk.
I give rave reviews to Game Day Men's Health, and I want to kind of put that into perspective just a little bit with Matt Lawrence and his team out in Chesterfield. First and foremost, you should know, guys, that they're offering you a free testosterone PSA test. And they want to make it clear, and this is important, that they respect your time. So this is a 1-hour test. You get the test, the results, and a full consultation in 1 hour. That means you don't have to take off work. You don't have to block off a half a day. But they don't cut corners, and they have a state-of-the-art lab, a very efficient process, and that still leaves room for a consultation with board-certified men's health medical professionals. They also have great ED treatments that are unique and really go to the root of the problem. They have medical weight loss, and that's kind of taken off quite a bit. Game Day now has its own pharmacy, which allows them to offer safe and effective medicine from their own FDA-certified pharmacy at very low prices. So if you're interested, they have 3 locations: Glen Carbon, Illinois, O'Fallon, Missouri, and a great location in Chesterfield at 6440 and Clarkson and Olive. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Guys, get back to the top of your game.
It's an annual tradition, the Florissant Veterans Day Parade at 1 p.m. on Sunday, November 9th. Come out and show your support as we salute the brave men and women who serve our nation. Details and parade route at 971talk.com/events.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
We called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
they came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you could get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, tomorrow, needless to say, is going to be a very interesting day in New York City. And unless there's some sort of miracle, this Zoran Mamdani is going to win the mayoral race. And then we'll see what happens to Manhattan and the rest of the boroughs, because I'm in the camp that says, burn it down. Let's see what this guy is going to do. It's embarrassing. There are some people that still care about New York City, and that will be featured in my audio cut of the day.
Playback ready.
Now, the audio cut of the day.
So I think you know who comedian Michael Rappaport is.
I do.
He's Jewish. He's very outspoken. He's on the Howard Stern show a lot. I've had him on my show. He's come through town to do comedy, but he's been extremely upset with the anti-Semitism that's going on and the safety issues in New York City. So hopefully Ethan got all the F-bombs out of this, but he's on a podcast, or this might have been on his Instagram, talking about how he doesn't feel safe. His wife doesn't feel safe. Sounds a little like downtown St. Louis.
I want people to feel safe in New York City. You know, I want my wife to feel safe. My wife is a tough broad. She doesn't feel safe in Midtown Manhattan during the day.
Really?
Yeah. And my wife,
really,
she's
like,
not.
You're like going out for lunch.
I'm not saying she's like shaking in her boots, but my wife in the last 2 or 3 years has been groped in Times Square, has had a shoe thrown at her, has been called the N-word, and got proposed to on the train by a homeless person, all between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Okay. So that's on, and I apologize, that's on Bill Maher's podcast. It's not on his show. But that's just the start of some of the stories that he was talking about. And I've heard this from people who have visited New York, and it's such a great place. I haven't been back to Manhattan in a while, but there's a lot on the line tomorrow, and New Yorkers are going to make the wrong choice, and they're going to pay for it economically and otherwise. And I don't see, I guess these younger people, and look, Republicans have to be careful too, because affordability is an issue, and that's what he's tapped into. People can't afford to live.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We still have just a jam on the Illinois side. We've got road work going on and inspections westbound 5564 between 70 and the Poplar Street Bridge with lane closures. And it's created a jam back to 203, and that's jammed up westbound 64. And then we've got volume eastbound midway across the Poplar all the way through the 70 split. Now, westbound 40, still some volume out there, Hampton through McCausland, eastbound on either side of 170. And westbound 70 looks pretty good out of downtown. Eastbound 64, we've got a report of an accident near Timberlake Manor. And northbound 170 at northbound 270 at Manchester. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.